Hello.
Very strange. What's going on with
What
that?
happened there? That was weird.
Welcome to
no
the
idea.
flight check edition of our channel. Right now, Hypno is
Just
20,000
hurt my
feet up in the
fucking
sky.
You guys can't hear me?
He's
Yep.
flying.
We can hear you now.
No,
No,
we can
we
hear you,
can't.
but like for a moment, you sounded
Oh, that
like
was-
you
that
were
was
way
weird.
up there. You know?
Yeah, not really sure what's going on with that. But welcome anyway, ladies and gentlemen, to Saturday Night Hypnosis, episode number 70, man. 70. That's insane. Hope everybody's having an awesome weekend. Of course, this is our Christmas weekend. So Merry Christmas early on in the show to everybody who's stopping in and hanging out with us tonight and spending a little bit of time with us as we go into the topics of the week. There is, of course, so much to talk about. So many ridiculous things happening right now on the internet that we need to divulge into. But before we do, let's get into our intros, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start off with the most racist person on the internet, Ryan Roger Athay. Take it away, sir.
Well, hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. New microphone. It's black. I am the master, and it's mine. But, love you, dragon. Love it.
It's your possession.
Now, Atreus, before I get into my intro, Atreus, what did you hide just as the intro started? It was to your left. Some kind of broom? Were you
He was trying to
sneaking
hide the
up
slave
stuff?
status, okay?
Yes, I
Give him,
know.
give him a fucking break.
But Atreus, you should be mad at DarkHour because he's called DarkHour and he's clearly not dark. But it's great to see everyone watching tonight. I won a new microphone, a Blackout edition, because they are the best. Black is best for doing menial work.
Wow,
in a
I never
movie
thought Ryan
quiz
would have done
against
that.
movie
For fuck's sake.
in a movie quiz against movie creators. I don't laugh when you speak, Dragon, because you're not that interesting. And I managed to prevail against these very talented people. So,
God damn, bro. I didn't say anything.
Just
I
throwing
was like-
everybody
It's
under
like
the bus.
You're not that very
I
interesting.
think he would be
you
a little
bastard.
nicer during Christmas, but I guess not.
Thank-
No, man,
Thank
he's a
you all very
fucking
much.
Grinch.
quiet.
Dude is the poorest Ebenezer Scrooge we've ever seen.
Yeah, he
Thank
definitely
you
is
all
got a
very
bar
much for
humbug
watching.
vibe going.
Now I hand myself over to a far more talented creator than I am, who will no doubt.
So talented, he cut me out of the intro.
that will no doubt.
And that's
be
one of the
most
best parts of the
talented
That's
intro,
because
too,
you
man.
gay.
It's because of your consistent stream of bad takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just get right into it. It's a consistent stream of bad
this
takes.
like a
I
roasting
like Rebel
session?
Moon.
What's
That's
going on here?
right.
I don't
Leon
know.
Words of Paradise here, ready to talk about the Christmas episode of Saturday Night Hypnosis. And I did, in fact, enjoy Rebel Moon. Come at me in the comments. I will defend that film as the most okay thing Netflix released this year. Other than that, yeah, I'm just ready to get into it and have a good time. The internet
Okay.
is burning at the end of 2023, and you know what? Sometimes you gotta destroy before you can rebuild. Treat it like a brush fire. So I think this is proof that 2024 is going to go swimmingly.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you're more than welcome to roast Leon in the chat. Okay, don't worry about it. I will highlight every single Leon roast that comes up in the chat.
Make
So-
my day, folks.
Speaking of which, Leon, take it away, man.
Yeah, no, that was me, man. I'm ready. Let's
Oh,
just
that
get
was
into
it.
it.
That
I'm-
was like
I'm-
that was
I'm
your own
excited.
little intro. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that was my
Make
intro.
sure.
Yeah. Well, I figured I should keep it as non-memorable as possible since my photo also wasn't on screen earlier. My intro. So you know what? Let's make everything non-memorable today.
Hypno,
What's up,
she
Kate?
is here.
Yes,
We have a
we have
woman
a
on
female on the
stream.
stream. I know
Holy
it's been a
shit.
few streams. It's a little crazy.
They now can't
Uh,
accuse us of this being a cockfest.
Jay, Diabolical Souls presents. Still can't say that very quickly. Take it away, man.
Well, you did well. You did well. Yes, I'm the founder creator of Diabolical Souls Presents. where I do a lot of interviews with a lot of content and comic book creators. We talk about bringing back the old days of creativity instead of using the agenda. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I'm looking forward to the new year. Got a lot of things planned out, and love being here on my Saturdays with these great guys, except Ryan.
Merry Christmas, Diabetes Soul Studio.
Yeah, there it is. There it is, you fucker. Come on.
you were waiting on that shit.
Yeah.
And Atreus
looks like people are actually enjoying the black screen for Leon. I think I might have to keep it.
Lord.
We can keep it. That's great.
We'll keep it. That's how bad people hate Leon's takes.
Did it say mid? Was it back to mid transition, or did it still say fully transition?
No, it's fully. You're fully transitioned. That's it. You went full lofty. You're done.
Yep.
Like,
all right, works for me. I've fully transitioned into just a fucking void of bad takes. The dark void of bad takes.
Welcome, Lofty 2.0.
With that being said, our special guest, man, DarkHour. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Take it away. Tell people where you're from. You know how to find you. All that good stuff.
My channel is DarkHour, one word, as basically only been streaming and doing this stuff for a year. Been building up as we went along. Got started on top of the mountain with the Critical Drinker. Worked my way down to my own channel. Basically, it was a really weird journey that not many people can say, and I'm basically looking forward to seeing what happens in 2024. And that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I'm just ready for these topics. These are some good ones.
Absolutely,
Atreus,
man.
He's black. Atreus,
I appreciate you. I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, man. It means a lot to me. Will the fans
to be invited?
Will the fans take it away, good sir?
Yeah, hello. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good holiday season so far. I personally am preparing my stomach for the Doctor Who Christmas episode that will be airing in about 40 hours from now, because Doctor Who is something that used to be great, and then it was murdered by political genders and people who just don't understand that their ridiculous attempts to rail against bigotry and racism actually just create those exact things. Hollywood's dying. It couldn't be happening to a more deserving bunch of pricks. Gaming is dead. Twitch is eating itself, and we're all here to fix it one scalp at a time. Can't wait to get into the show, talk to these lovely people again. Still here consistently 3 weeks now, guys. Hopefully it keeps going. All right,
it's
let's
a little
do
scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're so consistent now. I had to put you in the intro, which
I know.
Now you're in the intro.
Addition, by the way, it looks cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're in
I
the
like
intro
that.
now. So
I like
that.
The reference
you gotta stick with it. All right.
We'll radicalize it soon enough.
Will's great.
Dragon Slayer commentaries. Take it away, man.
Oh, it's my turn? Oh, cool. Sorry, I was working on this Christmas background for the stream. Right. So yeah, guys, my name is Dragon. No, I am no longer going to be delegated to the post one video each month category. Fuck you, Ryan. All right, that's not gonna happen. That was a temporary hiatus. And let's kick off the stream, okay? You guys already know what I do, okay? I may not be a professional shit talker unless the situation demands it. But, we got Ryan here. The possibilities are endless. All right? Don't worry about it. Let's go.
Speaking of professional shit talker, we got Atreus. What's going on, man?
Nice suit.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Y'all know what it is. It's your boy Atreus. You know how it goes. Professional shit talker. We don't report the news. We roast it, quite frankly. And this week, we spent a lot of time roasting a bunch of people. We roasted Taraji P. Henson for being broke. We roasted the magical Negroes of niggadry or some shit, whatever that fuck. We roasted
the Society of Magical
Negroes.
Even the white
slaves.
The whites got the title right.
Oh my god.
No, magical Negrexes.
Hold on. We gotta, before we move on, I just need to have a conversation with all my white guys here. We gotta have a
Oh shit. What now?
I'm all ears.
Wait, I need silence.
Oh god.
I need silence. Lord, how have the mighty have fallen? Y'all niggas went to slanging whips to Ryan fucking Athe here. I mean, this is the poorest slave owner I've ever seen in my life.
There's my fucking belt.
Oh my fucking dude has nooses, whips, cotton fields.
Okay,
no
Jussie.
slaves. I mean, like, how are you a slave owner?
Jussie.
You're a slave owner and a virgin. Okay, what the fuck?
Okay,
I'll
well,
beat
to
you
be
with a
fair,
fucking
Atreus, he had
spoon.
slaves and they all ran away, and his fat ass couldn't catch
virgin
him.
slave
Why do you
owner?
have a fucking spoon there?
All right, Django, chill, okay? Where you want me to send you a damn gun?
Oh
I
my
know you're
God.
going on vengeance. Hey, it's
I'm
April.
assuming I walked into some racist shit right now.
You certainly did. You certainly did.
Shocker.
What a
All
surprise.
right, just that girl, Casey. How you doing? Take it away.
Good. I missed you guys. I had to make it to the last stream of the year. Can y'all hear me pretty good, or is it doing like?
Yep, we can hear you.
Fine.
Great.
Yeah, I had to make it through to the last stream of the year. I have like an hour, so I was like, let me just come through because this is home. I always love coming to hang out. Saturday Night Hypnosis. Hypnotic was like the first person to give me a full voice on YouTube, so I'm always grateful for that. Happy to be here. I tried to do some like Christmas thing with my hair, but it's like not looking good, so it'll be going soon. Anyway, on the channel, we've been
belongs to
busy.
you.
You gonna shave your head?
What?
Belongs to
What's
you.
in my hair?
God damn it, Atreus.
I don't know why.
What did he say?
I said it belongs to you. That's all that matters.
Oh.
You say at least it's real,
Meaning
Just
you
smile
can't
and move
feel
on.
it. That's what he's saying.
I'm fraud. This really isn't my hair though. But anyway, but yeah, on the channel,
shit.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just really good. That's all. Been making the inconvenient truth great again. Really, this past week I focused back on the tranny situation. So, and it seems like everybody's really been liking that. So I've been making a lot of videos about I Am Jazz and just talking about the whole situation through that show. And but you can also find me. You can find me on Twitter, that girl KC1, where I talk about everything else on Twitter. And next year we have big plans for the channel. So I'm so excited. But I'm very excited to be here tonight.
It's always
Hey.
next week's show because this isn't the final show of the year, is it?
I
Isn't it?
believe
No,
it's
shouldn't
not.
be.
No.
Looks like there's
Oh,
one more.
did I mess up? Oh, for
You
me,
did.
I
it is,
wish
though. I'm not
Atreus
available
said
on the
that
30th.
instead of you,
I'm
Casey.
not, I'm not available on the 30th. That's
Our
fine.
our last
Hold on, wait a
stream is
minute,
literally
nigga.
on
Why
the
I'm the only
30th.
one that can be on the end of your racist jokes?
Because you're a black
Oh,
man.
jealous.
You know what's fun? You know what's funny?
Even
It's like at this
Ryan
point,
participates in the woke agenda. He won't go after black women, but he has no problem tearing down the black men.
Oh,
He gets kicked
Atreus.
That's some woke
He's
shit.
got jungle fever.
I thought your racism no bounds. Apparently, it has its
No,
limits.
it does.
Black women,
You
black
know-
women don't go after white women, Atreus.
Oh shit!
Not
It's
that.
have you ever
That's
heard of
not
lesbians?
The
Last
fact
but
that you're
not least.
complaining about white women you don't get is beyond me. That is fucking.
Oh, motherfucker.
Last but not least, Wyatt's Metal Film Rebel, soon to be the biggest channel on this panel, man. Take it away.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I showed up fashionably late, as always. Sorry, I got stuck in traffic on the way here. But I am Wyatt's Metal. We just passed 20,000 subscribers, which is nuts. Coming up right behind Hypnotic. Yeah, thank you.
It's awesome, dude. Good job.
Yeah, all I do is talk shit about metal and movies and get yelled at by people online, and that's pretty much it. And I'm here to do that right now.
That is awesome.
Great video. Great video.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put out.
Managed to corner the
If you
market.
get
there.
big and you forget about Saturday Night Hypnosis, I will send some allegations your way. I will send. What is your preference? You like them Filipino?
Boy's gonna
You
go
like 'em
Juicy
Asian?
Smollier on his ass.
I will Jonathan Majors your ass up out of here.
Yeah.
He's got ChatGPT coming up with the articles
Getting us
already. Like,
confused.
whatever you want, I'm ready to go.
That is hilarious.
Yo, Carl,
GPT
we're
makes
gonna
me a
accuse the white man
sexual
of now.
allegation right now.
And I'm gonna be making
dead.
hit pieces to get my own views. Watch.
What's wrong with dating Filipinas?
I mean, at this point, I might have to throw some allegations towards Wyatt too. Shit, the way he's growing real fast. I don't know.
AIDS
no.
spreads very well.
But
That
people
is
don't
some
care
Wyatt
when Hispanics
finger
got
hypnotic
problems. They don't care. They don't care when we got problems.
My next video is going to be titled "Is Wyatt Metal botting his views?" Yep, that is it. That'll be.
Oh,
That's
mother-
definitely
oh,
gonna do
no.
well.
Oh, that
All right,
is
ladies and
no,
gentlemen,
drama,
listen, we got a lot to talk about. It's been a crazy week. We're gonna touch on the Twitch meta that has been going around that got Boogie 2988 banned, which is absolutely hilarious to me. We're also gonna touch on a very strange video going around regarding Poison Ivy and Harley in the latest Suicide Squad game leak. That video was a little weird. You know, that's why I titled this stream "Gaming is Weird" now, because that that video was a little sus, man, and I kind of want to get some opinions on that. I see Atreus is ready to just go in on that. What's wrong, Atreus? What happened? You can't even control yourself.
I didn't play the video.
That shit was so weird.
Yeah, no, I'll play the
one
video.
where they edited and it said, "Hold up, wait a minute." Man, I was crying at that video for about.
Yeah, I saw that edit. Yep, I saw that edit. If you can find that edit, I'll play that. I'll play that video. We're also going to talk about. We're going to talk about Chuck Dixon. You know, there's a lot of stuff. Bounding into Comics has recently had a live stream, I believe, with Chuck, and I had a lot of interesting information that he, you know, a lot of things that he said. We're just going to get into it. It's good stuff. So we're going to talk about that, and of course some other stuff. We're going to talk about Aquaman. You know, Aquaman is the latest movie to come out from DC. That's probably going to bomb fantastically, most likely, considering the word of mouth around the movie is pretty bad. The critics are trashing the movie. So overall, it's an interesting time. So let's just but I want to dive into the Twitch, man. I want to start off the show with Twitch because the Twitch meta, I don't really know what to say, bro. I just, if you guys watch my Twitter, I think I roast Twitch like half of the day. I'm pretty sure I just like repost random things about Twitch and what's going on, and rightfully so, man, because the moment they came out with those terms of service that they eventually ended up backtracking on, the moment that happened, I already knew that the website was going to devolve into just chaos. It already was, you know, honestly so, but now it's a cesspool. Like Twitch is an absolute fucking cesspool of people pretending to be on a gaming website to do gaming when they're really not there to do that. They're just there to try to garner as much of a younger audience as possible and lead them to their OnlyFans website with their daddy's credit card. That's really what it is. But I mean, I'm going to pull up some videos, but what do you guys think about the whole Twitch meta nonsense that's going on?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Want to see Boogie naked?
Yeah, this is why I probably looked horrified just now, because I just went and found what he got banned for doing, and oh my god.
No, but you guys
like Jabba the Hutt's OnlyFans.
But here's
fucking disgusting.
His fact
Christmas is ruined.
So before y'all get into it, I just want to point out this one thing. You don't see no black people doing that shit. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
wait.
You say that, but then there's about not needing censor bars, but you know, it's fine.
You say that shit, but then I see like a clip from Clown World of this like gay black dude showing off his new BBL, and then I'm like, motherfucker, they're coming for Twitch.
Not on Twitch.
No, on YouTube.
You say that shit, but it'll happen.
Not on Twitch.
I never got into Twitch because it just seemed to me like it was always going that way. But my understanding of this is basically that they changed the terms of service to allow nudity, right? But not like full frontal nudity.
It is artistic
porn, but not
nudity.
full porn.
Right. So in essence, what happened is instead of being in hot tubs and bikinis, chicks are just naked, but they have to cut it above their nipples. Basically, that
they
was
put
it, right?
censor bars over their nipples and crotch.
They walked that back to me,
right?
Like, the whole, like above the chest thing. They walked that back because women were sporting that literally within 24 hours. Twitch was filled with being a discount Andrew Tate campsite, so like they had to walk it back.
How is Twitch still operational?
Yeah, how are they still alive?
And
Amazon, motherfuckers. Amazon subsidizes Twitch.
That Jeff Bezos money keeps them running.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying with everybody pulling out of Twitter for anti-Semitism, how the fuck are they? Niggas are beating their dicks on.
Oh, they're all coming back. They're all coming back to Twitter. They're all coming back.
Niggas,
I thought you said black people. Hold on, Trey.
Niggas are beating their dicks on Twitch.
So theoretically,
zoom in on it.
Niggas are beating their dicks live on Twitch, and it's still operational. It's still operational. And Twitter has advertisers pulling out over anti-Semitism.
And he didn't even say it.
Your own son is watching a grown man beating his dick on Twitch.
Let me show you guys something.
Okay.
Look,
I think
at least it's better.
That's the trick.
Wait, I gotta say.
So the answer's actually
walked out of the room
simple.
and I could hear.
All right, wait.
The answer's
One at a
fairly
time.
simple. Twitch is started out obviously in the video game realm. It's now devolved into other things.
Oh yeah,
But
boy.
historically, anything involving video games doesn't get taken seriously until it does. So it was able to kind of build slower towards that. Whereas Twitter is more Twitter X, whatever you call it, is more front and center because of the way it exists. So it gets the scrutiny quicker. Plus the Elon Musk factor and all these things. But Twitch was able to do it kind of under the radar long enough until now it's blowing up. That's essentially the how that happens with
it was incremental.
Yeah.
Let me show you guys this video that I found on Twitter really quick.
Subtle and then hammer.
And
it
they're all
home.
coming back to Twitter there, Atreus. They're all coming back.
Can we show Boogie with all of his flabs?
Oh God.
Like I said, dude, we were watching it on stream last night on a different stream I was on, and it was like, we couldn't even roast it because it was so. How do you roast something like that? It's already all so self-evident.
Well, before we show the comedy, I want to show what it actually is. Okay, so this video was posted. Okay, I just saw this was posted recently. I want to show you this guy's video. So hold on, let me just make this a little bit bigger, and then we can. All right, cool. So let me play this.
How is this okay on Twitch? I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. I was just scrolling through clips when I went to check that one. Dan, the fuck? This is Twitch.
Oh my God. She's doing the ooh face and everything.
Bro, how?
Like with her legs spread too? I'm sorry. I don't want to subject you guys to that because I literally considered that like soft.
Bro, like how is that Twitch, bro? Like how?
I don't know.
Doesn't she go on?
Something, isn't it, boys?
But I mean,
it's not Twitch anymore. Now it's
degeneracy is the name of the game nowadays. That's the agenda. Like, what we're gonna not show that?
Literally.
Like, no, like I mean, we're like that. It's just a woman that's there like that. I mean, there's levels to this. It could be worse than that. And believe me,
it can be.
It is worse than that. Hassan Piker's still on Twitch, and here's the thing: like fucking
that's true.
It sucks that Twitch is turning into an e-thought website. But I'm sorry, kids, fucking 15-year-old kids dreaming about how communism is the way. That is far worse than fucking e-thoughts, in my opinion. I'm sorry, communism is worse than
dumbass fix all you want.
See, well, here's the thing. I will have no problem with this stuff existing if it would classify itself as such. But the problem is that they purposefully don't classify themselves as a cam website or softcore website or whatever, because they know if they do that, then that just puts them into the pool of oversaturation that they're trying to avoid in the first place. These girls are cam girls, right? Like they're cam girls that couldn't make it on a cam website, so they're trying to go to Twitch to garner an audience that is going to overly simp for them, and usually they're going to be younger, and they're going to steal daddy's credit card to go sub to their OnlyFans to go see something they can see for free. But they know they can't do that on an actual camming website, which is why Twitch doesn't separate itself or classify itself. They're trying to find any way to allow this shit without actually classifying it as a sexual website, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah, that's
you're right. You're right.
Yes.
It's absolutely what they're trying to do, because they, at the end of the day, like Twitch knows this. The thoughts are bringing in the money. Does it affect the platform as a whole, culturally or socially? Sure, but they don't give a fuck. It's good business.
The integrity is completely dead. They should just rename Twitch. They should just change the name from Twitch to Snatch.
Yeah,
because that's basically all it is now.
It's the same platform that bans the term groomer. Think about that. This is the same platform that would ban you for typing groomer into the chat.
Yes, you couldn't say anything on there. You weren't allowed to call people out for their ridiculous, crappy opinions and indoctrination of kids. You can't say simp. You can't say groomer, but you can.
But they want.
Apparently, you can have your
OnlyFans. That's all that is. Because I mean, remember, Amazon ain't making no money from Twitch. So if they can show Amazon that this is making them some money, Amazon will be happy to let them keep doing this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's where it becomes kind of dicey though, because then you're changing your category or your categorization and all this stuff, and essentially using that as you said groomer is a couple of words. Amazon being a publicly traded company, that's where it starts to get a little dicey, because
it should.
The more they push it, then eventually what ends up happening is your top people are going to be like, well, where is this money actually coming from? They're going to look into it and they're going to be like, oh, okay, this is a different. So that it starts to become this weird kind of. Right now, it's almost like a like a shell company that's off here doing its own thing that nobody even notices in the greater scheme of things for Amazon. Once it becomes an entity that's actually making a profit, that's when it will get noticed, and that's when things will start to become a problem.
Kind of
like a real problem, not just a us talking about it here problem.
Well, there's also the hypocrisy behind it too, where they're fully allowing what we just saw. Again, that was only a couple seconds. That video I think is like 3 minutes long. They're allowing these girls to just go full on, basically softcore porn, but then they're banning the dudes who are doing it as a joke. You know what I mean? Like just it's ridiculous. Like why the double standard? We all know the real reason.
Well, beating the dick is a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you answered the question.
But really, is it though?
We need to start a Me Too movement. That's what we do.
I don't know. If I was working at Twitch, and I'm seeing these girls, I don't like seeing these girls, but if I'm scrolling, I'm trying to figure out, make sure everybody's, if I'm trying to make sure everybody's, on terms of service, and I scroll past the dude, just I'm banning them, bro.
Yeah.
I'm banning them off a reflex. Oh,
did you see the one where his wife found him? Where his wife found him? Did you see this one?
Oh God,
no.
Bro, I'm grabbing that clip. I'm making a fucking montage.
Play it.
Why are dudes doing it?
Because they're gay.
It's a little low, but watch.
Yeah.
What? Sorry. Just like this thing. It's just like
accidentally revealed that he's
Bro,
not
you
doing
can
that.
tell he's fucking wearing underwear too.
Yeah, you can see it when he turned.
There was a
around.
frame where you can see a fucking Speedo, and I'm like, oh.
I think it's worse
She's
that he's
pissed.
wearing a
Like, I was
Speedo.
just playing around. I was just
Are
playing
you sure
around.
she pissed?
I just want to throw this
She
one out
won't be
there.
pissed when he shows her the tipsy.
Wait, can you pull that back up? Just want to throw something out there real quick.
Oh yeah. Hold on, let me go back. Wait, sorry.
Are you hunting for this Twitch streamer's dick?
Okay.
No. I just want to point out that my buddy, the Uninspired Reviewer, is right there. I just want to point out that yes, you should follow the Uninspired Reviewer. You will like him. So just it's right there on the right. It's my buddy.
What? Random plugin for the.
I think it's funny though that the
big
men are using
streamer.
double censor bars, right? As if this is not
That's
technically
ridiculous,
And then the
man.
funny thing is he leans forward and it just fully comes out. Like, well, you're not censoring anything, bro. Like, what are we really doing here?
I personally think the funnier ones are the people who are pasting them onto their bodies. I think those ones,
Like
ones are funny because that's, in my opinion, that's clearly a joke. Like,
All right, I changed my mind. You shouldn't change it to Snatch. They should rename Twitch to Twinks. There you go.
They should.
Atreus will love
Look at
them
this,
then.
bro. This guy got banned, right?
Oh,
That's
I thought this was going to be a good episode.
I didn't know.
All I'm seeing is a whole bunch of naked dudes. Merry Christmas to some fucking naked guys.
He got banned.
Looks like Ryan. Looks like Ryan in high school.
Seeing a bunch of hairy
fuck
men.
off, diabetes
This is
souls.
Twitch now.
You
That's-
were lured in for the
this is
bonus
the point
hole,
that I'm
but all
trying to
you get
make.
this hairy dick.
This is what Twitch, the gaming website, or what was supposed to be a gaming website, has evolved into. The fucking website's a joke, bro. I'm sorry. Like it's been a joke for a long time, but this latest TOS has completely just thrown it into the shitstorm. Like it's bad. Overall, it's just really bad. And they try to say, they categorize it now, and some of the stuff they allow with a label or without a label, but they really don't, bro. If you go, I haven't logged on Twitch in ages, okay? And I went on Twitch just out of curiosity, and my fucking homepage is probably 1/3 of this shit, so I can only imagine someone who's actually actively on Twitch, and I don't have like an algorithm to feed me certain videos. I haven't watched anything in years on Twitch, so completely brand new algorithm for the most part, and this is what's center stage 1/3 of the time. It's just fucking retarded. It really is.
Well, I mean, it's all part of the portal. Like that's how they keep these kids connected to the meta. We're getting into an age where entertainment is like going to take over, but not the entertainment that we think of, like like going to the movies or like music or something. Just being connected digitally. So how do you get a bunch of kids to get stuck into it? Well, 13, 14, 15-year-old little boys who are having feelings, and then they see this stuff, even with her, just like that. That alone.
She looks old. The wall is hitting that bitch.
But you don't. But you know that because
you really do not have room to talk, bro. You look 76.
I'm not a fucking woman, words like you pretend to be.
But for a kid, all they thinking is like, "Oh my gosh!" And then there's another one, and And then this is how, but then after a while, it feeds something. But then after a while, there's a tolerance level that builds up. And then now we got to go to the next step. Not just OnlyFans, they go to the other thing, the hub. You know what I'm saying? So it just keeps them connected to all of this, like, filth.
Well,
you know what I find funny though about this picture, really quick, is that Amaranth specifically said that her husband was the reason why she was doing all this horror shit. She was doing all this horror shit, and then she's been gone from her husband for like years now, or something like that. And she's doing literally the shit that she said her husband forced her to do. Like, bro, come on, stop the fucking lie. Stop the lie.
Once a hoe, always a fucking hoe. I'm fucking sorry.
Don't she's wearing physical black bars on her body. Doesn't that count as clothes?
Yeah,
I
guess.
That's
I
guess
I think it's funny.
I mean, I don't know what
I say these women be lying, bro. I mean, not to go into the Jonathan Majors thing, but like, are we fucking surprised? Bro. Like, bro,
why you always lying?
So just to piggyback on what Casey just said, though, because she mentioned the hub. We all know what the hub is.
Yeah,
trust me, every 14 and 15-year-old boy knows how to get to that website. It's not, they don't need a pathway to find it.
You're right. They don't need it, but it's still inviting. Like, come on, like, so why else are they doing this stuff? Like, come on.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that's not it's not like a Twitch isn't going to become a gateway drug to the hub. What's going?
I agree with that. I don't agree to everything.
Atreus's type is on camera. Atreus's type is on camera.
What do you mean his type?
That's like every black man and Latino man's preference on camera.
I'm sorry. Can you
don't disrespect Ryan?
To find gaming content, you just see like this shit in a thumbnail. I'm sorry. It's a fucking joke. I keep this stuff, but they don't.
The fork in the picture has got to be the best part of it. That's clearly mid chew. Just
right here, right?
I wonder who picked this picture.
It's ridiculous. Imagine paying to have your name up on a fucking censor bar. It's just, I don't know.
It's fucking pathetic.
The other side of
have your name be anonymous $5. That's the worst part.
There's the other side of the arguments that people are saying, well, there's a market for this, so
But
fuck the free market.
For everything, but I mean,
the free market was not designed for this.
Fuck off, words. This is one contrarian opinion. I'm allowed to
contrarian to believe in the free market.
It is in China.
There is a market for everything.
You have to remember, Leon, that Ryan has never seen tits in real life before, so he doesn't know how to handle the situation.
Another reason for Ryan to stay in the cellar. Like, for
you have diabetes, you can shut up.
Even if he has diabetes, at least he believes in the fucking free market.
To be fair, though, I get tired of talking about. To be fair, I get tired of talking about simps all the time because what we don't realize is we be talking about these simps and these pathetic losers and all of that, and they really be right next to you. Ryan, fans for the OnlyFans account.
Wait a minute, my picture's the one that's next to you. How dare you?
Well, you're black.
Excusez-moi, monsieur.
You're 1% black, aren't you?
I am.
You're not white then.
Let me play this video real quick. I'm curious.
Just stop it
with that
voice, please.
Fucking creature.
That heartbeat.
I honestly don't even see what's appealing about it anymore. Like, they're not doing anything.
Yeah. Bro, I can't.
Those are gotta be fake. They're not moving.
A lot of these women who are doing this are not even really nude under the censor bar. They're just
they're basically wearing micro bikinis and stuff.
She's either wearing something or she's got fakies.
This person's
could be both.
extremely high.
Oh.
No shirt.
Why aren't they moving then, woman?
No, I think
they're paid for.
there you go.
Oh. That's exactly what I just said. Literally.
Yeah, it's just like a sports bra or something. It was too quick to really
Wait.
It's like a furry boob tube.
No, wait. Go back to the first one on the top and then full it. Look at the bottom right. Look at the amount of donations she got with this fucking shit. Like 3,668.
This is Sodom and Gomorrah on fucking
this is the end of days kind of shit.
Wow.
Well, to be honest, this is better than the girls talking about while they're doing that yum yum yum.
Yeah.
That's
like trading.
That was entertaining though. Like,
all right, so how did this evolve into Boogie 2988 getting banned?
Because he showed off his fat rolls, and Twitch didn't like that.
Yeah, I see.
It's the hypocrisy behind it all, right? So they like Twitch mods.
Will wants to see
we
it.
all know the Twitch mods are
Oh,
very.
God. That's why they got banned.
No, it gets worse.
Really
If you,
bad.
I don't know if you can play it on YouTube though, because there's definitely some junk there.
He was okay. See,
You're asking
Ryan when he takes off his Spanx.
Merry Christmas, everybody! It's the
Ryan
end
when
of
he
the
takes
world.
off his Spanx.
he was doing the most.
Bro,
This is the closest to getting laid that Ryan has
but
ever
you got
been.
to listen. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry, chat's going crazy. Listen, you have to understand the hypocrisy behind it all, right? They specifically allow women to do just that, right? If it was a
Yes.
hot girl on screen and she was damn near fully naked, showing pretty much everything, nobody would be complaining other than the people who are over this shit at Twitch, right? But and the Twitch mods will be loving it. Twitch mods will be all for it. They wouldn't ban a single thing. But somebody like this, Boogie2988, who comes out and he's like, all right, fuck it. These are the
Can
rules.
we remove it from the screen, please?
Yeah, I don't understand why you're all confused.
I have a theory.
Listen, I posted on Twitter. To be fair, I posted on Twitter when they announced that he banned him. I was like, rare Twitch W. Okay, I want to be very clear. Like I'm all for that. I don't want to see this.
I
shit
know that
either,
Hypnotic
but
is at least trash.
Is there a lawsuit? Is there a
I have
potential
to
lawsuit
understand
here?
the hypocrisy behind it too. You get what I'm saying? That's all.
Why would there be a potential lawsuit?
Is there a potential lawsuit? Well, because
one at a time. One at a time.
Unfair dismissal.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it just bothers Twitch.
He wasn't showing his penis.
Shut up, Ryan.
He wasn't showing anything that was,
No, yeah, you can't.
He was wearing
He
shorts.
didn't have the bars like he gave them away like a loophole. Like he didn't have like a bar to
Well, no, he
no
was
different
wearing
than going,
pants.
it's no
though.
different going to the pool. I mean, he doesn't swim, but it's no different than him going to the pool.
Yeah,
Boogie
Boogie stinks. That's all he does.
No, Hayden, don't report us.
Hypno
No,
is not drunk 3PO. Hypno is Boogie 2988. That's why.
Oh my god, we're gonna get reported for
Boogie
something
298 is you, Ryan.
can't
That's
even
you when you take off your
fucking report
Spanx.
on.
this is why you keep wearing the same fucking robe every stream, trying to hide. Don't get it twisted.
I think this comes
I'm
from
far
Twitch.
hairier.
Trey,
I
it's
think
good.
this
Shoot
comes
off.
from Twitch just being. I think they're really what am I? Salty. I almost said spicy. I think they're really salty about the fact that the top 20 streamers are all men. Like honestly, I think that really bothers them up there, and so I think they'll allow anything that allow that will get the women to get some type of advantage to get to the top streamers. I mean, when you look around, when you see people like Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed and Nick Merckx and all these other people that are constantly the top streamers, and then you're this progressive company who, I mean, let's keep it a bean. Everybody up there has pink or purple hair, and the men all go 50-50 on dates. They want to see more women up there at the top, and if this is what they got to do to allow it, I believe that's the reason why they will bend the rules to let this happen.
No,
If that was Jake Paul, they would let it go. If that was Jake Paul.
You think so?
Also, I mean, I get what you're, but if there's obviously the option of, hey, it's because we want to support women in whatever dumbass way that Twitch is saying so, but also how much of it is, their rivalry with Kick. They see Kick having this explosive success, and they need to find some way to bring people back to Twitch.
Gambling.
It's never worked though, Leon. Like
I agree, it's never worked. But I'm saying, can you imagine some high ups at Twitch being like, "Oh no, Kick is a threat. How do we fix it?"
What they say? Release the Kraken of titties? Like that just doesn't make any. They already had that. That's the thing. Like,
release the bonus hole.
All these POS changes do. All these.
Could you make a gift, please?
Release
all of the
crack.
terms of service changes. That all they do is just allow that little bit of extra that was previously bannable to be allowed now. But these girls have been pushing this for ages now, right? They've literally been pushing this for ages, and now this is all you get. The moment this shit came out, the TOS, this is what Twitch devolved into, just a bunch of girls pretending to be
24
topless.
hours, wasn't it?
This bitch is in her fucking car at the top right. Like,
Seems so boring.
Living in a libertarian paradise.
I don't know her name,
This
but I
one on the
remember-
bottom, I remember seeing on Twitch like a year ago, doing the same exact shit. She showed up on the homepage, so I know like she's been doing this a while. I don't know who the fuck this was until the whole drama.
I thought that was
Yeah,
Matt.
that was the one.
Still think it is. I'm not
Dude,
convinced.
let me
that's
tell
what it
you
is.
something, okay? If if a woman literally got her cheeks clapped on a fucking live stream, but the dude was not seen.
Didn't someone?
And she got a slap on the wrist. What do
wasn't
you?
there a chick who eventually just stood up and turned around and spread her cheeks?
But at least she had her clothes on while she was getting her back beat in. These girls ain't even got.
I mean, she had the camera angled away and shit.
That's
but
such an Atreus, son.
You have a way with words, Atreus. Didn't it turn into a chick eventually just standing up, turning around, and spreading her cheeks? I swear I saw something like to do with that. That's what happened, right? Somebody was commenting on it.
Will.
And she thought she was being.
Yeah, so what happened was someone was making a video about how to like bleach their asshole or shave their asshole or something like that. But YouTube allowed it to stay up because it was showing a medical practice.
Because it was informative.
It
was degeneracy.
Somebody posted on
Hold
Twitter.
on. What you said
guys
that
are talking
that
about.
YouTube video was? Hold on.
Yeah, see, exactly.
We've come a long way from this to whatever the Twitch meta is now.
What you mean? We got dudes beating their dicks on live streams. That's not progressive.
I have a dream. I have a dream that one day content creators will put their clothes back on and have good talk about the problems of popular culture.
This guy
built like Camelot.
This guy got banned.
Ryan would not be saying that if he was built like Camelot.
Oh, yeah, this is the dude that was beating. Oh no, it's not this dude.
This guy.
You don't have to show it. We get the idea, you know.
You can literally see that he's wearing something, though.
Yeah, he's wearing underwear. You can literally see the outline.
Oh my gosh.
I have seen a naked guy with a dad bod before. I have a mirror.
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison? You ever seen a grown man naked?
Like gladiator movies.
Okay,
Oh my God.
All right, now there's no more. Go ahead.
No more of
So
that gay
overall-
shit. Go back to the titties.
No, we're gonna move on to the next subject. But overall, man, I think
Lord.
Twitch is definitely. I don't even want to call it on the decline, man, because Twitch has been on decline for years now. Now it's just it's. I think it's like Leon said. They're trying everything they possibly can to try to hold on to any sort of relevance now. At this point, it's very clear that they don't want to admit that Kick is a who was it? There was a popular streamer that showed up to a TwitchCon in Kick gear and got banned. Who was that again? He got like kicked out.
I don't know.
It might have been.
It was Jadion, I believe.
I don't know, but somebody showed up to a TwitchCon in Kick gear and got fucking kicked out. So it's very clear like Twitch is not happy with what's happening. But you know, if they think this is gonna save it, it's obviously not going to. All they are is they're the butt of the joke, essentially.
But you said it's backed by Amazon or something like that. Like that's how.
Yeah, Amazon owns Twitch.
Yeah.
Right.
Leon,
It's
did you
not
take off your shirt?
guaranteed.
It was getting really hot. I picked a really bad time to take it off of what we're talking about.
It's really bad.
Are you trying to make a statement?
I was gonna make a joke about it, but I wasn't sure if that's what you were going for.
It was an accident.
He was testing it live, okay?
What timing?
Yeah. Really hot in here.
Not a fucking lightsaber. Come on.
I don't even think a lightsaber can cut through that. Go ahead,
Could you
Atreus.
please say release the bonus hole Kraken? I need you to
Why are
make
you
a
pulling
meme
up
out of
pictures of
that.
Lizzo?
Before you move
Damn,
on,
Lizzo got bleached?
I got a
Look
question
up,
I want to
Trace.
ask before you move on.
Yeah.
If you we've seen like different gaming shows and whatnot host their things on Twitch and stuff like that. How do you as a company justify doing anything on Twitch with this going on? Imagine if you're Xbox and you're doing your next gaming showcase on Twitch and you're live and then right next to it, big ass titties is just on the screen. Like, or even worse, that dude beating his dick. Like, what are we?
They came with the meal. That's all. That's not our fault.
Turn a blind eye.
They came with a meal.
Well, see, the
Is
problem,
that like a side
the
order
problem in my
fries you didn't
opinion,
want
with Twitch is that
side order of giant melons over here.
They have
free breadsticks.
Listen, they have way too much subsidization, right? So they're backed by one of the biggest, if not the biggest, corporations in the world. They have Amazon behind them, so they don't feel the ramifications of their mistakes as much as another company would have if they didn't have somebody or a company like Amazon behind them. The fact that they have Amazon behind them allows them to do dumb shit like this with very minimal fear over the repercussions of it, because they could just get subsidized by Amazon and keep going. So as long as they have certain top people on that platform that don't leave, and all they got to do is keep them contracted and happy and tell them to shut up, then that's basically it. They'll have all the people they need and all the viewership they need to justify whatever. And if they need to make the rest of it these dumbass like girls or whatever, then they'll do it. It really doesn't matter.
I disagree. And I'm gonna tell you why I disagree.
Why is that?
Because if they didn't care about profits and it was all about being subsidized, then why would you upset your entire creator base by going 50-50 and then pretty much jolting the entire kick movement by doing that?
Well, because it's what was that, Casey?
Like it goes back to what you said. Like everything, they really have carte blanche. These people are backed by Amazon, and I guarantee you, Amazon's not going to get rid of them. I just feel like
I'm not saying they're going to get rid of them. I'm saying this whole idea. Like I get everybody's on everything's a conspiracy and there's an agenda, but I
didn't say that it was.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Casey, that's your whole shtick. So you have to say that.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not saying.
Stop ganging up on the black woman.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that's coming from you. I'm just saying like everybody tends to have it. Oh, this is what they want. This is what they want. All I'm saying is, if it was really just we don't care about profits and all of this, then just. I want to say a year ago, Amazon cut people at Twitch. They laid off some people. I forgot when it was. It was a long time ago. I want to say before I even had a YouTube channel. They was laying people off, and then they decided to go 50-50 with all their creators and upset everybody, which gave oxygen to Kick, and the reason why Kick became so popular. So if it's so much about we don't care about profits, we just want to push an agenda. Then I just don't believe that, because otherwise you wouldn't be making these desperation moves.
Well, actually, Atreus, both can be true, and the reason is because of what you pointed out about the top viewers, the top streamers being male. So they feel like they can cut the profits to detract from the ad rev of the male viewers while subsidizing male streamers while subsidizing the female viewers. So really, the money stays the same. Yeah, you might be taking some money away from the dudes, but the women are going to bring in more. So you can actually have both based on your model of they're doing this to support female streamers.
So they're running a pimp business, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
This is like at this point, just call it pimping. You're just pimping hoes.
90 some odd % of viewership is spread across the top 1% of Twitch. So as long as they keep that top 1%, it really doesn't matter what happens to the other.
Exactly, it doesn't matter at all.
Like I said earlier, the only thing that can fully be a problem is if the top. If the top stockholders of Amazon start to make a noise, that's where shit hits the fan. If your parent company, their top stockholders decide that they don't like the direction, things will change, and they have to.
No, I agree.
Right. I do agree with that.
Let's jump into some super chats real quick, and then we'll go into the next topic. We got Picasso, member for 8 months, says happy holidays. Everyone stay safe. Thank you, Picasso. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
We got I Cthulhu for 5, says Atreus and Hypno, you definitely must see the American Fiction trailer. It's a perfect comedy plot. Any chance for a review? Looks to be best of 2023.
American Fiction looks fantastic, but not even unironically, it looks great.
Is that the one? Is that the one about the dude who has to write the book?
The well-educated black man who writes a book as if he was a gangbanger, and people think that was his real life. And that movie looks really fun.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't heard of that at all.
we already went over that. Some weeks ago.
No,
we talked about it
on this stream. You talked about it on your stream, and you and I had a back and forth about it.
That shit does look good. Of all the blockbuster stuff, that's what's his name? How you say it? Cthulhu?
Just say I Cthulhu. That's what I do.
I Cthulhu. Yeah, so of all the blockbusters that's coming out, that looks like the best movie to come out in the last half. I mean, minus one, no pun intended. But that looks like the best movie that's not Godzilla right now.
All right, we got Zombie Box Reviews for 10 says, remember to leave a carton of milk and a plate. A cup of milk, milk and a plate of cookies out for Santa. If you live in a black neighborhood, then it will be a bottle of fentanyl and counterfeit 20.
This man right here is reality based.
Man, not counterfeit $20.
Milk.
Merry
That's
Christmas.
weak sauce.
That was pretty
In
good,
England,
Zombie. I
it's,
gotta
in
admit,
England,
that was
it's
pretty good.
brandy.
We got Kyoko Fulgarian for 5. Says, hey, Hypnotic, I just want to tell you, the panel, my fellow Hypnotoad army out there, to have a very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you, Kyoko, man. Merry Christmas
Hey,
to you
Merry
as
Christmas
well.
to you as well.
Panther 111 gifted 5 Hypnotic memberships. Thank you so much, Panther. Always killing it every single stream. We got Desmond Spars, a member for 6 months, says, whoa, I'm watching Twitch right now, man. This Amaranth, she has 2 talents, man. Yeah, well, 2 very good talents that she
Left and right.
Yeah, that she publicly apparently the
She's got a
husband was
couple
in charge
more,
of.
Pinky and
Long
Percy.
live the wall.
Yep, I still think that is the most hypocritical woman on this planet, honestly. But it is
One
what
of
it
them.
is.
No, yeah,
Definitely.
the
They're
whole
all
thing
hypocritical.
about how
No, Trey, it's really
and
like it's
stuff.
really hypocritical, bro. Like to blame your husband
Yep.
for being
Yeah.
a whore, and then you've been a whore for 2 years after you left him. That shit is.
I
Has
agree.
it actually been
just-
2 years
it's
since
just-
that happened? Fucking hell.
we got Jada Pinkett
Yeah, they're
Smith.
all.
Oh, I know. She's not the highest. I'd say one of them. One
got
of
Black
them.
woman.
At least in the gaming space, anyway, for sure.
We need to do a
Trace is like, you need to
female
get out more.
feminist hypocrisy Olympics or something.
Trey's like, you need to surround yourself more black women. man.
Atreus really doesn't like women. I have to admit, that is a major red flag. Atreus doesn't like women.
Well, at least Atreus has a choice because women don't give you the choice.
I don't know though, Ryan. Like statistically, between you and Atreus,
Damn.
only one of you is likely to shoot up a fucking school. So
Yes, Atreus.
Oh my God!
It's supposed to be
Boom!
Christmas,
Wow.
ladies and
Jesus
gentlemen.
Christ! Even a stop clock is right
Demonetized.
twice a day.
It's a guilt occasion, man. Rich troll Ryan trying to insult
Holy
someone's
fuck.
looks. Oh well, have a happy. Except Ryan and Leon still needs to watch Arcane.
So Kilted, I will have either Arcane
He
or
will
Edge Runners.
let
One of
you
the two will
live.
be finished before the end of the year. Before New Year's, either Edge Runners or Arcane. I'll have one of them done. Just so you
Oh
know.
Lord.
Dude,
There
you
you
haven't
go,
watched
man.
Arcane yet? God.
No, he has not. That is insane.
Yeah,
that
Busy
is-
defending Rebel Moon.
yeah, he's
And we
defending
got
Rebel
Heist
Moon.
Man.
I don't have anything against Arcane or
Oh,
anything. I just
man.
I'll explain real quick. I've
That you-
never once played or indulged in anything League of Legends related in my life. So when a League of Legends show came out, it just wasn't on my radar. It's like I'm not a fan of insert. Let's say I wasn't a fan of Aquaman. Let's say I was never a fan of Aquaman my whole life. If an Aquaman movie comes out, it's not gonna strike my fancy. I've never been an Aquaman fan, so that's why Arcane passed me up.
I
To be
was in
fair,
the same
no-
boat. I was in the same boat with Arcane.
Oh
There you
man.
go.
Yeah, I haven't watched
Iceman
it.
member for 4 months says Merry Christmas to everybody in the chat, including you, Hypnotic. You've been doing great. Keep it up and let Snow. Oh my gosh, this is one run on set. Let Snow. The woke mod bastards will never give up. And
He's
Merry
trying.
Christmas.
He has. He
Let's
wants
show
to
the
fuck
world.
with
Doing
everyone's
great.
grammar.
Keep
That
it
was
up
hard,
and
Heist
let's
Man, but I
show the
appreciate
woke
you.
Yeah,
mod bastards.
including you, Hypnotic.
will
Oh yeah,
never
wow.
give up.
Even
Thank you,
I quite
Iceman
agree.
member for 4 months.
Fuck
That's
the woke
awesome,
mod
dude.
bastards.
General
The
Veg
mod-
dropping a 20. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.
bro, we
Says, Merry
talk about
Christmas,
Twitch
Hypno and
and
Pano in
money,
chat.
right? What the fuck?
Hypno gives no fucks, and I love it. Never change. I won't hit the like button, everyone. Send a message. This is what people want. I
Yes,
appreciate
hit the
that,
like
man.
right now.
Hit the
I'm gonna
fucking
do it.
like button. That would be fantastic.
Hit the
Girl
like and
Vague, man,
Hypno
thank
will
you so
throw
much
you
for super
nudes.
chat. Thank you for being an awesome mod. I appreciate you, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about some good stuff. Let's talk about Aquaman.
No.
Maybe it's not good stuff. Sorry, that was a mistake.
That-
Anyway,
that-
Aquaman and the
okay,
Lost
so-
Kingdom.
All
We
right.
finally have the
Witness
answer
why you
for how
failed.
much Amber Heard is actually in this movie, and it is
Oh,
11 lines
She's
of
in there a
dialogue.
lot, right?
She's in there for 15 to 20 minutes with only
Yeah.
11 lines of dialogue, and then she gets fucking yeeted out of the movie early on, and then she's gone for the majority of it just to show up at the end and accomplish absolutely nothing. So I guess that's the compromise, really. I still think she should have been recast, or just,
They really, yeah, they definitely.
I mean, there wasn't an easy way out of it. I don't know. What do you think?
No, they definitely used. There was definitely a rewrite or something in the middle there because there was.
Oh, yeah.
it just seemed so random.
Hmm.
Out of nowhere, she just gets like she's just in a hospital bed, and they're just like, "Well, see you later."
Yep.
Like it just go off, and do their best.
She was
DC
definitely
do a
supposed to
rewrite?
have a
No.
Yeah, I know, right? It's almost like you can't make a fucking comic book movie these days without having to do
Yeah.
reshoots and rewrites and take 6 months longer and spend another $150 million on bullshit.
Well, let me
Yeah.
ask a question. So, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, this is the last movie from the previous regime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I
The
not-
end of the
am I not
DCEU.
Yeah.
We can finally
Yeah,
get
no.
past that shit. Some people never got past that.
Right.
Some people never got past Batman versus Superman.
So I mean,
the
to put
audience
it
score
lightly,
is
this
very
movie's getting pretty
sketchy
killed.
too.
To tell you the
Yeah.
truth, so I saw it yesterday, and this could be a little prisoner of the moment because of how bad I felt Rebel Moon was. I did not utterly hate Lost Kingdom. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's a great movie, fantastic. But like, I wasn't not entertained by it. It wasn't not enjoyable for the most part. Like the Amber Heard stuff didn't really bother me. I don't know if it's 78. Like I'd probably put it lower than that. Like I know that's a weighted score, but like a C+ movie.
Well, see, you're not the only one though.
Yeah.
A lot of people, if you look online, a lot of people are saying that about Aquaman, Lost Kingdom. They're saying it's like it's a good movie. It's not like amazing, obviously, and it's not fucking awfully terrible, but it's kind of like average, or maybe slightly above.
It's above mid. I would say it's like slightly above mid. And to tell you the truth, if this would have came out at a different time, with less of the Amber Heard like taint to it and all this stuff, I think it would have been successful. It's not. Yeah, I mean, actually, I will say this.
They've got a baby in it, you know. Like
I
they've
will
actually
say
had a
this,
family.
and Will, I don't. Since you seem to be the one who's up on it the most besides me. There's actually a really strong message about fatherhood in this, which is super rare by modern standards, and brotherhood as well being important. And those two things caught me extremely off guard. I was like, whoa,
it's very rare these days, isn't it, to see a film come out that actually has a positive thing to say about family values.
Yeah.
Especially
that's what people are saying about Pandora.
Promoting having children. It's
I
for
mean,
that
don't
alone,
forget,
it's worth an extra couple of points.
I mean, it still looks like the CGI mess. Don't get me wrong; it still has that same problem that all of the DC movies had up to this point. But at least it like so I heard somebody in within this said it wasn't woke. I can agree with that. It was not woke. The wokest thing they had was a slight environmental message, but that was going to be in an Aquaman movie no matter what.
I
hate that.
Since you've seen it, I have a question then. Is it only a slight message? Because the way Jason Momoa was going on and on about it leading up to this, he made it seem like that was the point of the film, that he was going all in on the environment.
I mean, it is the threat, isn't it?
It's the threat, but it's almost so like over the top, unrealistic of a version of environmental issues that it's easy to kind of ignore it. They only say at one point one line of like oh, good thing we started heating up the planet, good thing for global warming, and then it's like, and somebody's like, it's not a good thing. That's like the wokest line. Then they start like
the first one had an environmental message as well, but it was very subtle. So I was like, yeah, it's fine. I don't like the first movie, but at least the messaging in it is also environmentalist and it's subtle, which I appreciate. You know,
which makes kind of baked into the character, isn't it? Aquaman's always had that kind of.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to hate that. I hate that term woke now because like everyone's labeling everything woke, and everything isn't woke.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I can see that. The only problem is that it is a word that they took, right, and they took it from 100 years ago when it was first used, and when it actually meant, actually being aware of actual oppression, stay woke, brother, and all that. And they've taken it and completely bastardized, warped it to the point where now, if you actually need a definition of wokeness, almost no one can come up with it. The one I use is basically that it is to have been convinced that the world is an awful and in an unequal place, despite all evidence being to the contrary.
That one pretty much sums it up. That guy right there sums it up right there.
He says, I'm not going to pretend this movie is anything new or great, but it does occasionally manage to be fun and subversive enough to act as a solid sequel and a fitting send-off to an extended superhero universe that never found its footing.
Yep.
That's fair.
Pretty
accurate. Have you noticed that the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is quite high? It's like pushing towards 80%, but on
it's always high because they started
IMDb, it's nowhere near.
You got to understand, Rotten Tomatoes for the last year or two, year, I think, they started filtering the reviews on audience scores, to verified, not verified, and they're doing that. And ever since they started doing that, the audience scores, have drastically risen, to the point where they're trying to make movies seem as if, everybody loves it, the fans love it, it's the greatest movie of the year, and they do this for every movie that comes out.
Yeah, because I wondered about that, because there was a time before Captain Marvel came out where if critics were panning a movie and the audience score was high, you could guarantee that it was actually good and the critics were just being fucking activists. Whereas now it's almost like they're trying to
know.
replicate that effect artificially using bots and whatever, so that you trust the audience more than you trust the critics.
Before you go back, it is really nice to look at this and see that James Bond didn't like the movie.
I will say this.
Name.
So Patrick Wilson is always, in my opinion, super, like, he's always been a super underrated actor. Like, no one ever talks about how good he is, and he does a pretty good job of carrying when he's on screen. Momoa has a weird charm about him where, like, despite the fact he's this muscle bound, just big dude, he feels like an every guy that, like, you could hang out with. So that has like a certain amount of that adds a certain amount to it. The rest of the cast, for the most part, kind of is forgettable, though.
It's interesting you get that from Momoa, because every time I've watched the movie, I've never enjoyed, minus being okay with his performance in Dune. I've never watched Jason Momoa in a performance where I thought, I like this character. I can get behind this character. I can, appreciate. It's always just this sort of bland, like, diverse version of Chris Hemsworth. And I don't know. I've never been a fan.
Really be having some of the worst takes, man.
Jason, I don't
have to agree with Atreus on this shit.
The thing about Jason Momoa is just a Roman Reigns that smiles. Like, to be real.
At least
Momoa is the only reason I even like Aquaman right now. If it wasn't
that is true. He's the only reason people want Aquaman.
Yeah, but you're black. You don't read real comics. Like, Aquaman has been great in the comics for years.
I mean, it was Injustice,
very
Injustice 1 and Aquaman 1.
Eric July would like to have a word with you.
I would say. I for one am glad. I'll let you speak, Diabetes. Then I'll speak. Go on.
Well, I was going to say he's kind of like a Vin Diesel, but Vin Diesel's got his own problems right now.
Yeah,
not Vin Diesel. I mean, you're right.
Vin Diesel. Oh yeah.
Oh Lord.
The point I was going to make is, thank God the DCFU is finally fucking dead. We can move on to another inconsistent run of DC fuck you, and then we'll just keep on going. This is the same problem DC has had for practically 30 fucking years. It's so inconsistent, it cannot survive in its current form. It's like a zombie. It's just like,
remember that James Gunn said that The Flash is one of the best superhero movies he ever saw.
Correct. And that thing bombed.
He went back on that.
Jeremy Johns opened his Aquaman review. He literally opened his Aquaman review by going, "The Flash was better."
Yeah, I saw that.
Basically, what?
I don't agree with that.
No, the Flash.
I want to be very clear.
The Flash was entertaining for all the wrong reasons. That was the
exactly.
Flash was 200 tons of ass in a 10-pound bag.
The word dog shit. He made people wait for this.
It wasn't the best thing, but it was exactly what I expected.
Nice, Will.
If they're not successful this run with DC, they should just fucking quit. Just let it go. This is the third attempt now. Just let it go. Or stick to your singular movies, man. Yeah. You were doing fine when you were releasing your in its own world style movies. Like, you don't have to be a DCU just because Marvel's doing that. Like, just do your own thing, man. Stick to your Batman movies, Joker movies. Like,
it started badly. I mean, they had Man of Steel, which did okay. It's divisive, I suppose. Some people really love it, some people really hate it. And then what happened? Like the following year, Avengers 1, and suddenly it was like, right, we got to turn this into a universe. We got to catch up with Marvel. If they'd taken their time, introduced each person with their own movie, and been permanently 5 years behind Marvel, no one would have cared. It would have been good. But what they tried to do was just create the universe before creating any of the characters to populate it.
Right.
And so that's how you ended up with Justice League, which has its own fucking basket of problems.
It's been like that since the 60s. DC has been trying to catch up to Marvel. Like, Marvel did Fantastic Four, then they did the X-Men, had all these characters. DC's trying to catch up, and like it's been like that for decades. It's DC's always trying to catch up to Marvel,
which is hilarious when if you know about their histories. It's hilarious.
That's how it happened, and Marvel just took the lead very, very quickly.
I wish I was as spry as DC is, like in its late 80s or 90s. You know, for an organization that's been around that long, I'm amazed it still keeps on going and sustains itself. Likewise with Disney, it's 100. You imagine any of us doing this at 100? I mean, everything has its time to shine, and
These are
everything
companies.
dies.
Imagine Ryan making it past 30.
You know what the problem is with DC? DC had an opportunity to capitalize on something when they had Frank Miller do The Dark Knight Returns. They had something dark, something for older teens and younger adults, and everyone was invested in that. Everyone was like, "Oh man, this is dark. This is psychological. I'm really digging this. It's a different style. It's a different take. You're not seeing your typical comic book style." And they just gave it up.
Yeah.
They just gave it up.
Absolutely.
Well, because they were trying too hard to be Marvel. That's the issue. You know, they didn't take their time with it. They rushed everything. They like the moment Marvel started to really take off and do their own MCU, DC was like, "Oh, we got to do the same thing quick. Let's just skip the fucking 5 years Marvel has on us. Let's go right to the Justice League because that's gonna make sense." They
had the Killing Joke. They had the Killing Joke. The Dark Knight Returns. They had the Watch. They had all these great
they were killing it.
like adult-based stories, and then they just nope.
They tried to keep the Nolan vibe going way too long as well with Zack Snyder. Like,
I like that about the early Snyder films though, is they do feel like they fit in the same like film like directorial vein as the Nolan films.
I mean, it was kind of how Man of Steel was marketed, wasn't it? It was going to be the Superman movie to match the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well, that's because Nolan was involved with production.
Opinion, I like Man of Steel. Sorry, what was that, Dark?
I said it's because Nolan's name was slapped on the production as a producer, despite the fact he did absolutely nothing for Man of Steel.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, to me, he and Zack Snyder are also like tight for
that's true.
Life, so I'm sure there was probably some like. I mean, I could be wrong, but I would imagine if one of my best friends was a producer on my movie, I would hope he'd be giving me insight and whatnot. So, you know, because Nolan and Snyder are tight off screen.
Yeah, but their styles are so different. They're so different.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah, they're very different.
Spielberg and Lucas.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you guys feel as if Aquaman deserves the roasting it's getting by critics right now?
No.
Yes.
No.
I don't believe so.
The only reason it could have avoided getting roasted this much is if they had taken the proper stance when the whole Amber Heard controversy was going on, which is to not involve themselves, get rid of her if she is going through the same suspicious allegations as Johnny Depp when the news information came out, and not fire and not make it a bigger deal than it should have been. Because these kinds of matters normally in the past were dealt very hush-hush because no studio wanted these kinds of things getting out there for all the public to see, because it brings controversy, which means it causes delays, which means extra costs, which means we now gotta waste money on doing alterations to something that was already well planned out. And because Warner Brothers took the stance that they did when this movie finally came out, for some people it didn't matter whether the movie was good, was bad, decent, or the best thing they've ever seen. To them, they're always going to tie this movie to Amber Heard, period.
Yeah.
And the fact that her footage was longer.
But it also brings the point that we are seeing a lot of bad press come out about the productions and the actors, which is something like you said we didn't used to see. They used to cover this up. So just take this moment to give Harvey Weinstein a thank you. Next time you see something controversial in the news, like, thanks, Harvey.
Fuck you.
You know why?
For the long run.
You know why I say fuck them?
It's why do you think it's getting roasted so bad by critics?
Well, you go.
I'm glad
it's the final page
on my behalf.
Oh my god,
well, folks!
Sorry,
this
Jay.
film
it has everything they want. It's diverse character, right?
It's the final page of a failed project. Now,
yeah,
it's the final page of a failed project. Of course, it was going to get panned, just like the last 3 or 4 DCFU
final page turned in a month late.
Just like the last 3 or 4 failed DCFU products. It's a failed project. Time to move on. Either release these and make a loss, or cancel them and lose more money. On to James Gunn, who will do exactly the same fucking thing, and it will fail because DC always fucking fails.
I'm enjoying this.
I agree with Ryan.
I am enjoying this because all the decades that they abused the writers and the artists and didn't give a shit about even the legendary Kirby and all these people, they tried to fuck them over for years. And so when it's coming back on them, good. It's about time that they get fucked over and get it in like raw, because they've been fucking people over for decades. Screw them.
Well, Hypno, here's what I think that a lot of folks might just be forgetting. We're talking about superhero fatigue, and we talk about all these, the critics were given such rave reviews, all these superhero movies for years because they got all this access. It doesn't matter how much you like your job. Eventually you're going to get burnt out. I think we're actually seeing when we see critics start dogpiling on movies, because critics are destroying Rebel Moon as well. Rebel Moon stars a strong woman of color who's a refugee. Hold on, think about that. A strong refugee woman of color. So, and it's getting blasted as well. Aquaman's getting blasted. I think we're actually seeing the critics starting to be like, you know what? Really the access isn't worth it anymore. I'm tired of seeing the same schlock for the last 10 years. They are burned out. I genuinely believe that a lot of critics are burned out on having to suck the corporate tit just to get access.
Well, that's maybe, but I do think
maybe.
I think honestly that
there's always
Brian
another
is onto
wave
a lot
of people
it.
who aren't.
It really is. It's the last failed page of an overall failed project, and I think that's the main part of it.
Can I address the Leon's point really quick? I disagree with that. I think this has more to do with them tired of losing their cachet to YouTubers, like you guys.
Yeah, they're pretty bitter about that.
There's more people watching the fucking Critical Drinker make fart jokes about their films than there are fucking people reading these reviews, bro. I'm sorry.
Like, he has a point. It's just like
no. To be fair though,
does make
professional
really
critics.
good points
A lot
too.
of these professional critics are YouTubers. Like, so the criteria
These
to be
days,
considered. Yeah, the criteria to be considered an official reviewer on Rotten Tomatoes, if you're a YouTube user, is that you have 30,000 subscribers and X amount of movie reviews as part of your history. I don't remember the exact number, but X amount of. So that's a very low bar. 30K subs. I mean, by that logic, Hypno has done plenty of reviews. By, let's say, February of next year, Hypno
I don't know what I'm doing when I hit
30K.
Well,
that
what
would
I'm
be a big
saying,
thing.
So you officially make it at 30,000. That's when you become a prominent creator.
My point is, it doesn't matter how great your
That's when
job
you
is.
sell out.
Eventually, you will get burnt out doing the same old. And we can easily talk about wokeness this or ideology this, but I think that narrative does start to fall apart when you look at Aquaman.
Because you don't get tired. You don't get tired of your bank account.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Can we have
you absolutely do. Have you never left a job that made you good money to take a job that was less money because you wanted to be happier? I've done that.
Hold on, wait.
No.
Wait. Can we? Hold on.
I guess I did move to the Philippines.
Back and forth really quick without
Trace, go ahead.
I agree with that, but not everybody's doing that. Most people is taking that money, bro. That's why Rotten Tomatoes was able to do what they did with the Marvels and stuff like that.
But that's only sustainable for so long. I agree that's how it started out, but we've been seeing this for about 15 years now. Eventually, you're gonna have it. We've seen critics' scores start to slowly decline. This must be the 10th stream on SNH this year where we've talked about how we are surprised that the critics are destroying a movie. At that point, that's a pattern, and there's got to be a reason for it. Usually, movies that
because the movies suck shit.
Because
there's your pattern.
5 years ago, these critics still were sucking these movies off. They sucked shit then too. If
they were still
then,
heading
they suck shit now. The critics are actually acknowledging the reality that they suck shit. That means there's something different that's changed. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're rats deserting a sinking
What's
ship.
different is that they're not making
is.
as much money. Yeah, is that the access has become less worth it. It's become shittier. The parties have become less. The food's become
and
worse.
that has led to more honesty. When you look at these critic reviews, there's
exactly.
That's
so when the bullshit ends and they haven't got anything worth lying for, then they won't lie.
Yes,
like the red carpet premieres for Marvel movies used to look like these huge events like you'd want to go to, and now they look like the most pathetic little things.
Yeah,
they had to drag people up in costume for it, and it's just because the quality overall.
Not there, or at least it's not worth it anymore. One of the two,
right?
And that's not a combination of both. That's all.
I like a combination of both, and that combination is there. Because the quality just been going down.
It's like you used to do anything to get close to Disney and be in their good books, but when Disney is losing like $1.5 billion,
when all the rides are broken and no one's there anyway,
and no one's going to the park, and Disney Plus is hemorrhaging subscribers, what are you really getting access to? It's not A+ level anymore; it's barely D+.
What about that merger between? I think
the
it was
worst thing in the world. Oh my god!
What?
Pardon.
So
I
even
just saw
before the
the
Dark
worst.
World
I'm
was
sorry to
given,
derail the
even before the
conversation,
Dark
but
World, which
my
we all
God.
acknowledge.
Somebody hit it. Somebody
Ah,
did it.
That's not fat
I was
enough
gonna
to
do
be
it, but I
me.
got involved in the chat.
That is not fat enough
What
to
the
be
fuck?
me.
Oh my
That
god.
That is not
fucking
fat
great.
How
or hairy enough to
convenient.
be me.
Oh man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I was looking through Twitter and I saw this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
Remember?
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
got it.
Hey,
Sorry.
the audience are
That,
making
Sorry,
memes.
continue.
that is
Sorry,
a good
continue.
rendition.
Anyway,
I
because
regret to
what-
inform everyone this will be
I-
my last appearance of Saturday Night Hypnosis because I'm going to drown myself now
I
after
am-
seeing this.
I am far
That's-
fatter and far hairier than that picture.
That was 25 years ago. So
Yeah.
I'm 24.
Before the
But when
Dark
he was-
World, we
when he
all
wasn't
talked
even
about how
born
shit
yet.
that movie was when it came out. Like everyone, this is before the Dark Ages of Marvel. Marvel had bad movies then, even
Yeah.
in Phase 2. We were all talking about how shit Dark World was, but critics still gave it a fresh score. Nowadays, if Dark World was made, they would not be giving it a fresh score.
Actually,
That's,
Yeah,
that
that's
would
true.
not necessarily.
they were getting paid.
If we
They were
pulled up
getting
some of the
Yes,
older
I know.
films, you'd be able to see that. I wonder, like for instance, like what critics were saying about Iron Man 3, which is most people
Pretty trash.
horribly dislike. But if I recall
Yeah.
correctly, a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, it's a great Tony Stark story." It's like, yeah, but no one cares about that. They wanted to see an Iron Man story, not a Tony Stark PTSD story. And that was so like there. You are correct what you're saying, that there was things that people were saying back then that don't make sense with what's going on now.
Well, that's why I asked the question, because I was curious. I don't know if there is a pattern to be seen, but I noticed that now critic scores are they're just not great. Like it is way lower than it has been for many years, and I was curious as to why. With the whole Rebel Moon thing, it was pretty obvious that people just hated Snyder for the most part. Or at least I was part of it anyway. And,
I mean, it's a bad movie too.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
it's not a bad movie. It's a fine
Oh
movie.
my
It
God,
is
Leon.
terrible.
Leon. It's terrible.
It is an
Time out.
average
We're
movie.
not going to get
The
into Rebel,
vagina scene alone at the beginning was worth it.
Yes.
Ryan,
Space
you watch
vagina,
you
10
got
out of 10.
Steven
Ryan
Seagal
finally
movies
got
behind
to
you.
see a
You don't get
vagina.
an opinion.
That's the one time
I'm
I
saying
agree with
it's
Ryan.
good.
One time
A bit
I
of it
agree.
is good. The space
Listen.
vagina, the spaceship
We're
penetrating,
very
the
clearly
ships coming out. Pew, 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 pew.
we're very clearly starting to see a little bit of a pattern here. For whatever reason that is, I don't know yet. I don't know, and that's why I'm glad you guys had a back and forth to kind of discuss it, because I was curious, what people thought about it, because now, we already know they filter reviews. I don't take Rotten Tomatoes seriously. I don't think anybody really does, but it really shows that when they filter the audience reviews and they're more truthful with the critic scores, it makes you wonder just why that is, because the opposite was the case just a year ago. So now it raises questions. That's all. That's all. It just raises questions.
Yeah, it's funny. Those Snyder fans just drink the Kool-Aid and keep chugging along. They love their their shit.
We should bring Prime on to take on diabetes here.
Bring it. Don't sing it.
No.
I can't control black men, so no.
Oh, no.
Wait, earlier on you were saying you were his master.
The fucking
That was-
microphone, you stupid bastard.
Ryan definitely has anger issues. It's very interesting. But
That's what happens when you've never been laid. It starts to just back up and build in the range.
This
That's
is pure
true.
fake news. The
What is this
tranny and
fantasy
the
always
brown-
has to go
That's
straight to
another
people
double
being
whammy.
laid or
working
not?
together.
I
Double
have
whammy.
seen a vagina before in Space Rebel.
Space Rebel.
Space Rebel.
Space Rebel.
Whatever the fuck it. I've been watching the movie.
Sounds
I don't know.
like,
Rebel Moon.
That
Sounds like
a
some
better name
derivative
for it
mid
than
90s
Rebel
Super
Moon.
Nintendo game.
quick
That
question.
sounds like
So
a better movie than.
if the
It
It sounds
the-
like a Metroid ripoff that you would have seen on like the PlayStation 1 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's like 3 out of 10.
for Atreus. If the critic score going down is not a sign of a shift within the critics themselves, and they're still trying to maintain their access and all that stuff that they've always been doing, then why do you feel like what's happening is happening? Like why do you think the reason? What do you think the reason is?
You asking me per se? No,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I'm just curious.
My only gripe with what Leon was saying is that it was just this one thing of people getting tired. I don't think it's people getting tired. That was all I was saying. I was just saying I don't think these guys are getting tired of it. I don't think people don't get tired of getting paid. I think it's more about credibility and people seeing the effects of not having credibility. There used to be a time where even me, and I'll admit it, I used to look at IGN reviews before I would go and see or play anything, like dead ass serious. And then I started
trusting
noticing
IGN.
Yeah, and same thing with Rotten Tomatoes. And I started noticing, and the first time I stopped, like I really questioned Rotten Tomatoes was with the Captain Marvel thing. That's when I got my red pilling. So
really,
I think,
as late as that.
And I think
I was even later.
I was seeing it.
I think that was a lot of people though.
I was seeing it with Doctor Who in 2017. I think.
I wasn't until it wasn't until WandaVision. I was like, something seems off here.
Alex Jones radicalized me in
after
2012.
After Captain Marvel, Trace, what did you like from there? Like, why was that your red pill moment?
Well, that was the red pill moment because the whole controversy with Brie Larson came out, and I was kind of in the middle of it, like, okay, I see what she was trying to say, but I don't think it's that serious. And people started pointing out certain things, and then I watched the movie, and I want to say it was that right with that moment where the dude asked her to smile. And then she robbed the nigga, and I was like, "Wait a fucking minute! Now, wait a fucking minute! Wait!
Did
This bitch just robbed a nigga for asking her to smile?
Remember the Don.
This is supposed to be the hero, and then that's when I started discovering people like the Quartering and Critical Drinker and all of that stuff like that. So ultimately, what I'm saying is, I don't think this has to do with. I don't think it just. I think that's a part. What Leon said is a part of it, but I think more of these guys are starting to realize, like, holy shit. Our credibility is going out the window, and people are starting to wake up. It went from there is no MCU, it's a bunch of incels online, to holy shit, there is an MCU.
Trey, because I agree with you as well.
I agree with
thing I completely agree with. All I was trying to point out was that when you look at those critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, specifically the critic ones, a lot of them are YouTubers. YouTubers are listed as official critics. So I just wanted to clarify that because you mentioned, they're watching these videos instead of reading our reviews. Well, to be fair, a lot of the reviews are from videos that people have made. So it's important just to note that Rotten Tomatoes does take that into consideration when making those critic scores.
Well, since we're sharing moments, because somebody put it on the chat, for me, Robbie Bob says, for me, it was The Last Jedi. For me, too.
Me, too.
Because
two
scenes I know that did it for me where I was like, what was that? The first for me was when she healed the creature. She put her hands, and all of a sudden the creature was. I can't remember what the snake thing was.
Rise of Skywalker.
She did force healing.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's Casey.
Yeah.
So like
So
the Rise of
good.
Skywalker was a real interesting one because I was dating a
That
chick
was
at the time,
desperation.
and she was a horrid bitch, but really good in bed. So I kept dating her, but she'd never seen Star Wars, right? And
Great to know. TMI.
But she had never seen any of
those
the
are
Star
usually
Wars
the ones
movies,
we end
and
up marrying.
being a massive Star Wars fan, I was like, I want to get this girl that I'm interested in, invested in something that I enjoy. I watch her makeup videos. She can fucking watch Star Wars with me. And so I took her to see the Last Jedi, and she walked out hating it. And I had to.
Why would you do that?
How could you hate the movie? But even though inside I was like, I hated it as well. I was like, man, I had to spend like 2 or 3 months wrestling with the fact that I had just seen a bad Star Wars movie and this chick was calling me out on it being a bad movie, and I couldn't accept that. When really, as much of a dumb bitch as she was right about that.
What was the scissoring like? What was the scissoring like with you two?
But let me, you know what?
Did you have to tuck?
Because it started with The Last Jedi, but I didn't realize this was a thing. Because Luke Skywalker, me and my brother couldn't wait for like him to come back and all this stuff. And the fact that like how he just wasn't himself in the movie, what we expected. So I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. But when I was solidified that something's going on around here was the Rise of Skywalker when she was healing the creature. And I was with my godson who was at the time like 18. And I'm like, Mikkel, Jedis don't do things like that. Like at least in the movies, people, somebody always bring out a book that they did it in the book. I don't read the books. I'm a movie goer, right? So I'm like, Mikkel, why is she doing that? That's not what Jedis do. And he was like, no, she's a girl, so she's Jedi Jesus, so that's why she. And I'm like, what? The second scene when I was like, yo, y'all are tripping, was the lesbian kiss at the end, and it wasn't the first time I saw a lesbian kiss on a movie. Okay, but it was the forcing. You know what I mean? Like,
it was just crowbarred in, and it was
Yeah.
crowbarred in, but it was background enough that they could cut it out because they had to cut it out in countries like China.
Yeah,
that was one of the things. I mean, I remember for me, the red pill was a longer process. It began when they announced that the Doctor was going to regenerate into a woman in Doctor Who, and then of course there was a long wait for that to come out. During which time I went back to England for Christmas and saw The Last Jedi with two of my friends, and then we all walked out together and we were like going, "Yeah, that was great. That was really good." Yeah, I didn't like what they did with Luke though, but it was really good, you know. Yeah, but the Holdo maneuver didn't make any fucking sense at all. But it was really good though, and actually she was a complete bitch, and her plan made no sense. But it was really good though, and actually that whole scene on the casino planet, that was horseshit as well. That accomplished nothing. Yeah, but it was really good though. Oh yeah, but then they also actually killed off Luke Skywalker. You know what? This film fucking sucked, didn't it?
Yeah.
What the hell? We saw a bad Star Wars.
The Last Jedi is one of the biggest cases of
everybody's saying it's great.
gaslighting
So you think
ever.
to yourself, okay, am I insane here? Am I going fucking crazy? And then that's when we all ended up going to YouTube to find other people who felt the same way, and that's when it happened for me.
And
then
that's really
when
I
it
want
was
to
trash.
touch one of the commenters because they said something real interesting. Like Morb 357 said, for me, it was Ghostbusters 2016. That
Yeah,
is
that was the beginning. Really.
I think that's a very interesting movie because that you could say that's sort of really Gamergate was progenitor of all this, but in terms of the movie space, a lot of people point to Ghostbusters 2016 as the progenitor of this stuff. And while that movie did suck, it's undisputable it sucked. I don't think it's because of any feminist agenda thing. My whole thing about 2016 was always that comedy in the 80s was very different than comedy now. Ghostbusters doesn't work with that level of Bridesmaids or the Hangover style comedy, and not because of any sort of agenda. Look at this feminist Ghostbusters sort of thing.
Well,
so,
at the time when that movie came out, I
definitely feminist though.
I was like,
I was about to say, what is?
No, I'm
it's
not saying
100,000,000% feminist.
I'm not saying it wasn't a bunch of feminists. And what I'm saying is that I don't think that I could be wrong, but I don't think by 2016 Hollywood had gone all in on the DEI sort of stuff. It was more of just that
was pretty much like when that was hitting its stride.
You think that was the progenitor point?
It was combusting.
Yeah, like looking back on it. But when I was watching it, I was watching it with naive eyes, and I didn't think it was the greatest. I was like, oh, okay, like, oh, all right. You know, I still had the thing where a name could carry a movie, and I didn't realize what was going on because Marvels was still my thing, and Marvels was still like doing good, you know. But that year, I don't know, man, that freaking year with that Rise of Skywalker, and then they brought back the guy.
Casey, I got a question.
They walk out of there. What was his name? God damn it, I forgot the villain.
Kylo Ren.
What's his name?
Kylo
Ren.
No, the one. Come on, y'all.
No,
Snoke.
Wakanda forever.
No,
Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine.
You mean
The
Finn?
one who Palpatine. Yeah, and it was just like,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
because nephew was. We were just
Palpatine. Oh my!
Somehow
fucking God.
Palpatine returned.
Yeah, like I just was like, I don't really like.
I remember someone
in the end,
saying,
I was like hoping that her and Kylo, because you know I'm still a girl, so I'm like, oh, all right, they're gonna get together. They don't
Which one?
Raylo. She's a Raylo.
The fucking Raylo. Get her out.
Get her out.
How dare you?
So was I the
I
only
got a
one?
question, Casey. I got a question for you though. How did you make it all the way to the Rise of Skywalker with that being your red pill moment, and not the fucking moment where Rey flew the Millennium Falcon like it was fucking nothing? And when they asked her how did she do it,
at the time,
I'm a mechanic. I work on these things so I can pilot too.
Force Awakens didn't get me either.
Let her answer.
Like at that time, I think I literally was just watching movies. I didn't get it yet. I didn't see that they were trying to make the Force female. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see it yet. Not that it would have been hard for me to understand that because I saw a different agenda happening. So I wasn't on the feminine agenda just yet. But I saw more of the gay thing coming on strong around that time. So I couldn't see everything just yet. So
they were all
connected.
All of them were coming along at the same time. The feminist agenda, the
but as
LGBT,
a woman,
all of them were all they systematically like a domino.
I'll
effect.
say this: during that scene, I wasn't red pilled by that moment. But when she flew the Millennium Falcon and they asked her, and whatever the boy's name is, asked her, "How did you do that?" And she said, "I don't know." That's when I did a video on it like super late.
Weird. I don't know.
So,
right? Like,
So like
There were-
I have a
Go
whole
on.
joke about how I did a video on that 10 years too late, but I literally went in and like I'm gonna continue in 2024 where I have her up to like 1,400 or 1,800 hours that she would have to train to do all the things that she does, and it's only like 5 of the things she's good at as of right now.
Yeah.
One of them was her piloting skills and her mechanic skills. I did a whole video
Yeah.
on that and how it made no
Yeah.
sense.
Well,
And
that's why the
was
Mary
actually-
Stuart
Not compatible
play.
skills.
Oh,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
that's totally
and that was
Mm.
actually my red pill moment was TFA, because I remember I walked out of the theater. I was with a couple of friends of mine. We walked across the parking lot to Target for some reason. We were like, oh, we're just going to this Target. I'm walking around. I'm like, and they're like talking about how good the movie is. I'm like, did we watch the same movie? Like, I don't think we watched the same
Interesting.
movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
a
was
lot,
like,
a lot
I
of
was like, it
people
wasn't
didn't get got by
terrible.
Force Awakens.
Mhm.
A lot of people just like I did as well. I just watched it and thought, yeah, this is good. This is good. This is Star Wars. And there were some things
Yeah.
that I was just sort of suppressing in my mind, I think,
Yeah.
for a long time. It wasn't until
No,
Last
we
Jedi
all
came out,
had
and then
it.
I watched Force Awakens again, and I was like, this is shit too.
Yeah.
What the hell was I
I
on?
think the Force Awakens is shit. It's just
It's a copy paste.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean,
It is.
everybody knew
the
they'd
copy
done
paste is
that,
a
but we
problem. It's just
forgave
the
it.
Force Awakens is very much a this exists movie. It's not necessary. It could have been a good starting point for something else, but the movie
Copy
in and of
paste.
itself
Yeah.
was-
That's what I
I
mean.
still
when you
thought
said that, it's
that
just
the
there. It's
EU
not. It doesn't have a
Oh,
separate
okay. I thought you meant
identity.
copy paste literally of a New Hope.
No. I mean, they did that too a lot, but no, it's
Yeah,
it's
that
more
was the
like it's
movie.
it's more
Beat for
like
beat.
Jar Jar Abrams looked at yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'll call him what he is. Jar Jar Abrams did the same thing he did with Star Trek, which is that he looked at the old stuff, saw the stuff that he thought people would like to see again, and then did a
Superficially.
modern retelling of it. And then what we got was a film where everybody was pissed off of the fact that they killed off the way they killed off Harrison Ford
Solo,
when
yeah.
it could have been done a little bit better or waited until the end.
That made me
And then the
angry.
controversy happened of the production problems. But I do want to mention one thing. For me specifically, my moment wasn't even like Ghostbusters 2016 or The Last Jedi or even like any of the Star Wars movies. It's actually a little bit further back, and I do have a different reason for it. It's the Hobbit movies. Now, for me, it was mostly that.
dude.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
like
know.
them
Here we
either.
go.
I
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah, but
didn't
didn't
like
the
them.
critics
The
also
Hobbit-
dislike the Hobbit movies? Like, I could
I
be wrong.
hate
I
those
thought the
fucking
critics
movies.
didn't like the Hobbit movies either.
No. Like the Hobbit. No, there were fans of the books and like
first
normal
one was
people that also did
alright-ish.
not like them. It was sort of split. So you had like at least 60% that were fine with it or loved it, and like combined, and then 40% of them were literally people that just absolutely thought it was either garbage or low effort, which is absolutely true. So for me, after I did some
Garbage.
research on the production that happened, yes, I know he hates gnomes or mids. Anyway,
Dwarves.
the whole point is that after some research, I found out that there is a reason why when I went to see the movie in theaters, why movies number 2 and 3 were so underwhelming. It was because it was supposed to be 2 movies, but then all of a sudden the studios involved, some of them were going bankrupt or were losing heavy money, and they needed some extra cash quick. So Warner Brothers comes up with the great idea of making 3 movies, and then they don't give Peter Jackson any extra pre-production time, because originally it was Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro took half of that shit and then just
How can you
left
not
the
pronounce his
goddamn
name right, being fucking Mexican?
Guillermo.
Guillermo del Toro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Basically, The Hobbit was supposed to be 2 films, not 3. They stretched it out, and it failed. End of story. My red pill moment was in 2012. Alex Jones awakened me. Had nothing to do with popular culture. I was the
That's
youngest
interesting.
to be unplugged from the Matrix. Wakanda
Actually,
forever.
no.
Be careful. You're starting to sound like you're saying you were the firstest ever.
No.
My red pill moment, so to say.
Ryan Rodriguez is the
was,
Jennifer Lawrence of this stream.
Yes,
Yeah. The Jennifer Lawrence
That
of the
sounds
red
pretty
pill.
accurate.
I just had to cut Dragon off because I'm like, you're not fucking coach, you're not charismatic. Carry on. He's not.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Wow.
Listening
Who?
to fucking coach
God
do it.
damn.
Never mind Dragon, who's less talented. Wyatt, continue.
Wait, what? What are you talking about? I was like,
I'm enjoying this moment. Ryan, you can take over the pedestal if you like.
Just fucking drones on and on and on, and we're all waiting like fucking. Stop,
bro!
I want to fucking speak. Words wants to fucking speak. A prayer wants to fucking speak. You go on and on and on. It's hard enough with Coach, but he fucking bamboozles us. He bamboozles us with all this mystic crap and ancient history that no one can fucking call him out on because he's fucking Mystic Meg or something.
Nobody
don't have that charisma.
But I was stating facts.
Charisma Dragon. You don't.
What is
haven't
that
made a video in
sound?
3 fucking months.
What is happening?
Nobody calls Coach out on it because nobody can fucking pronounce or define the words that he uses. So it'd be
by the time you want to say something, by the time you want to respond to something that Coach says, he said 5 other things.
Bro, I literally grab food and then I come back and I have no fucking idea why I'm getting roasted. I literally was just talking about facts on a movie production.
I feel like I just got scolded by my grade 8 teacher.
Then they turned it into 3.
I feel like we got scolded by our special ed
End
teacher.
of story.
No, Guillermo del Toro abandoned it too. Was that? Go ahead, Casey. What were you saying?
Red pill.
Oh yeah. Oh me.
What I was going to say. No,
basically,
mine was.
I realized that the studio.
You're stealing my moment, goddammit.
I didn't know you said Ryan. My bad. I mean, Wyatt. Fuck. Whatever.
Ryan just went through a 5-minute improv about you trying to shut up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
My moment.
Ryan screwed me over. Okay, just go on ahead. Sorry,
it was
Wyatt.
when the mainstream media came after Joe Rogan for ivermectin and COVID stuff. That's when I was like, wait, what? I can clearly see my eyes.
We were talking in the context of
What? No way, Wyatt. You
I'm just saying.
I never even saw Rise of Skywalker.
That was
so
my in general because I hated Last Jedi at that point. I hated the Hobbit movies, but I didn't have like a piece together, as Casey would say, it's all connected thing until that moment. That's when
if I hadn't had Doctor Who as well, then I probably would have been in the same boat. I would have thought it was a fluke.
So here's that was just last year, and I feel like you've been on this show for a long time. I don't know. I just feel like I was late to the game.
That was in 2020.
Was that in 2020?
Was that I didn't even watch Rise of Skywalker. I watched
video about that. You talk about when they started saying he used the N-word, but simply that they were just trying to take him off because
all of that. When you couldn't turn on any news channel without that. That's what I was like. Wait, I can clearly see. That's when
as well, right?
That's when all the moments of Ghostbusters and Last Jedi and little things that all added up. Everything came down. And I was like, holy fuck.
Here's the funny part is that you say that all of them added up. You actually collectively, everybody here just added up the exact answer to the swing of what's going on with what started this whole thing, which was us talking about the critics, and it's that the wave is going the other way now, so a lot of the critics are now going to go with the wave because it's just so we actually collectively answered that exact question.
So I have the fear that I have then about. Hold on, do you have the same fear I have about the other way swinging too far to the point where you go back to like the Satanic Panic, the 80s? With
I'll deal with that when I get there. But I'll take
that.
We'll fight it then when it gets there too. Because
I'd like to apologize.
But but
Casey, you gotta head out.
Yeah, I do have to head out.
I gotta head out too, actually. By the
way, nice to meet you. Why always has some fun Hollywood party something to do? Is that?
I'm making food for my grandma.
Oh shit!
That's even cooler. That's cooler than a Hollywood party.
Casey,
I'm not always a metal shill. Sometimes I'm wholesome.
Wyatt, you forgot to
Casey,
add
do
Wasp
your
in
outro,
your
and then
video.
Wyatt, do your outro.
All right, y'all. So listen, huh?
No, sorry.
Okay. So so for me, this is my last stream with y'all for the year. What is that? Like a small violin?
Whose windows is running in the background?
Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. So listen, it was great 2023. I'm so excited. I can't wait for 2024. If the internet is still on, we'll still come on Saturdays together. Thank you for, having me on. And you guys can catch me on That Girl Casey on YouTube. Talk about the inconvenient truth, connecting everything together. And then That Girl Casey 1 on Twitter. And it's just going to be a big year. Merry Christmas to the panel. Happy New Year to the panel. Love you guys. You guys are family. I'm always gonna come home, even if I'm away for a while. Peace out, y'all.
Magical
Happy
music to a
Kwanzaa.
magical Negro.
Now.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
There it is. The left is.
I'm just gonna
Racist.
turn into a
Like,
fucking
you hear
weeping
me?
angel. after
See how
that.
racist the left are?
You see that? That's how
All
racist the
wrong.
left are. Yeah.
100%, exactly. What
That's
I'm saying.
amazing. All right, Wyatt, do your outro, man.
Are you gonna play music off with me too? Or?
Can we get?
Hey!
or something?
All right, now we're picking up. Yeah, now check out my channel, Wyatt's Metal. I just released a new video today on the biggest crimes throughout metal. Check out my channel, Film Rebel. I just bitch about today's entertainment. Have a great holiday. Go show your tits on Twitch, and that's all I've got to say. Jake.
Nice.
Bro, they didn't let him finish this
I'd
word.
like to
Chicken
apologize to Dragon for turning into Alex Jones on him.
I don't even know how I
That's the
triggered
least
your
of what
Alex
you did.
Jones mode. I
You
want
just
to know
talked
that.
too fucking long, man.
Bro, I was gonna get to my point. I got interrupted with
No,
food,
you
and
were-
It's,
then I
it's,
had to
you
leave.
know, you don't.
No, you were
Three.
not, Dragon. No,
There's-
don't
I
lie.
literally
When
got interrupted.
When there's 10
like,
people
I
on a
got-
live
I
stream,
had-
you
I
don't
had
have time
food
to
brought
get to
me.
your point. Start with your point. There's 10 there were 10 of
Trace
us.
and Ryan, I never
I
see
mean,
them
I
get
barely
along
talked.
more than when they're both going after Dragon Slayer. It's great.
Don't do that.
It's-
That's not
I don't
true.
even know.
That's not
How
true.
the hell?
I
It's great
get
stuff.
away with doing that on Coach, but one day he's just gonna have a monologue that I do not understand, and I'm gonna fucking call him out on it.
How hard is it to understand a troubled
Mythological
production
5,000
of Greece?
years ago.
Hold on,
The
Dragon.
Atlantean
Dragon.
curve.
Hold on. Listen, I don't want to talk too much about Coach because he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah.
But let's not
Yeah,
sit
don't
here
talk
and be,
shit about Coach.
let's
Everybody
not
loves
sit
Coach.
here and act like y'all ain't looked at the camera a little bit like, what'd he say?
What the fuck is he talking about?
That's all I
It
do.
ain't my
Sit quietly
problem.
going,
Y'all
"Huh?"
acting ignorant.
Real quick,
okay?
ladies and gentlemen,
Get some
the
knowledge
movie
in you.
It's the fake accents that annoy me.
dropping in 19.
Dude, we need to stop this slander because every time when
It's
Coach is
horrible.
on, we talk shit about him, and then the stream gets over, and I go out to talk to my grandmother. How dare you be so mean to my coach? My grandmother adores Coach, and she will not
Coach
stand
is
for us
awesome.
to throw shade at that man.
Your grandmother
I'll
loves a
stand
German.
here and fucking
That's a
defend
red
Coach.
flag.
Hey, Leon, my
Coach
mom
is
says the same
great.
thing about you. Like, how can you talk to a woman with a mustache like that? So I was just-
Damn.
My old man's like, will that guy with the long hair ever shut up? So there you go.
Wait, about me or Ryan?
You.
Oh,
All right, if it was Ryan, he would said that he was
I like
that
your
old man with
granddad,
receding hairline.
All right,
So
ladies and
I-
gentlemen, listen. Let's jump into a totally different topic. I want to talk about the Chuck Dixon stuff because this is last stream we talked about the state of the comic book industry, right? The American comic book industry. This stream, we're going to talk about the Chuck Dixon and the podcast he just recently had. I think it was exclusive, I believe, with Bounding Into Comics, where he kind of just went off. Like he went off on feminists. He went off on Disney and Lucasfilm. It was a mix of things. It was very interesting to see someone who has been in the business for so long saying these things because, if anybody, the saving of the comic book industry, as much as I don't care about American comic books anymore, but the saving of that industry is going to come from people who truly care about it. And somebody like Chuck Dixon, he actually cares about the industry. I mean, he is the industry, right? Like
This is
he
what
has
Comicsgate was about. People who
Yeah.
care versus people who
creator of
pretend to.
Bane, for crying out loud. That guy
And
created
also
Bane.
mad props to Bounding Into Comics because now that Bounding Into Comics has had a couple of their more head
Nice.
honchos who are complete douche canoes for retarded ideology leave, they've started to move back to the center. I've noticed in their articles, and that is notably better than where they had been the last year and a half or so. So like just
Are you gonna
It's
stop
getting
roasting
a
them in
little
every
bit
video you make?
so
a
they
year
stopped
sitting
making
on-
articles with
regime
Bible
change.
verses.
Go
It was
regime
getting a
change.
bit. It was getting a bit preachy. It was hard to
I
make
was spending
content
years
about with
shitting on
their
Bounding
stuff.
Into Comics, so I want to acknowledge when they do something well.
Especially if you're black and you trying to read to your audience, and at the end it's like, yeah, the blacks be beneath and the whites are above. It's like, come on, man. Like, what the hell?
Sounds like my kind of website.
What type
Where's
of
their
old school
successor?
Christianity is this?
I love how Ryan
Does the
plays
old
up to this
God that
character.
Did the old
It's not a
guard that
character.
get chucked
It
out?
is a character, right?
It's not a character.
Sure, sure. It's one. We'll make you believe that. It's more
definitely
convenient.
not a character. I'm telling you.
Hypno, there's a glare in the top middle there. It's kind of blinding me a bit in the top middle there.
Hey, I'm
Oh,
called
yeah.
Tiny
reality
glare
based
coming.
because I don't tell
there
a
we
fucking
go.
lie.
Thank you.
No one has ever
Race-based.
accused me of being a liar because Atreus, why the fuck are you wearing a hat indoors? And did you steal
Why are
that?
you wearing a bathrobe?
Because it's
Every
50
bald
Fahrenheit.
person or balding person or
cold.
person that has a fucking fade is so mad at you.
No one's
All right.
ever accused me. No one's ever accused me of being a liar. Chuck Dixon is a great comic creator, and I hope that he keeps on going until he's 100. That's like
It's
30
kind of
years,
hard
I
to
think.
take that seriously considering that your
There it
top
is.
fucking action star is Steven Seagal. I'm sorry, bro.
Wait a minute. Is
that
that
bar is
is
so
What?
low.
that serious?
Dude, look at his
Yes.
collection in the background. That
Yeah,
DVD
yeah.
tower, it's mostly Steven Seagal movies. That thing is
Okay.
going to be
Dragon,
9/11
I fucking
one day.
control you.
You gotta understand,
Dragon,
he
I
hasn't
control
been
I'm gonna
able
need to zoom
afford
in
a
on this. I
movie
need to see this.
until
He's got an
Steven Seagal. You know, it's been a long time.
There's
He
literally
hasn't
one
left
good
that
Steven
basement
Seagal
since
movie.
1989.
He's got an old-timey TV, bro, like from the 80s.
Stop derailing the stream, Dragon. Hypno, talk about the article, please.
Well, thank you, Ryan. I
No,
didn't
I'm going to
realize you were in
derail
charge
it
of the
because
show.
you
Appreciate
can't.
it. No, but seriously, what Chuck is saying. So it was broken up into two parts, primarily by bounding into comics. One of which was a segment against female-oriented stories in a male-dominated industry. You know, and that's probably the one that's getting the most hate, I think, in terms of just online discourse, from what I can see. But apparently, it says Riververse scribe Chuck Dixon slams comic book industry's ideological pandering to female readers and says that they think that third wave feminist stories are going to bring girls back, but no, they're not. And he was essentially saying that females were actually one of the predominant buyers of comic books way back in his early day, like way back. We're talking way back. But then, of course, over time, it became a male-dominated industry, and that the comic book industry lost a female reader, and they don't know how to get it back. And they think that the way to get it back is by doing these hardcore feminazi stories. And clearly, that's not the way to go. So I mean,
I actually want to dive deep into this. I'm glad you brought this up because I think there's the frontline comic book message, but then there's also the underlying message. So did y'all see that video that went viral? Matt Walsh actually got in trouble for it over the girl out in LA who was talking about dating liberals versus dating
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You saw that video, so
yes,
Matt
I saw
Walsh,
that.
You know, so
yeah.
What I
That's the one with the girl was actually amazed that the guy was paying for everything.
Let me, huh?
Is it the one where the guy was amazed? She was
Correct,
amazed
yes.
that the guy paid for everything. Is that? Oh.
Yeah. So what Chuck Dixon is saying here is the women don't want that shit because the women don't fucking know what they want. They don't know what they want until you give them what they need. So the simple
I
fact of the
actually
matter
completely
Is
is,
that what you tell the police when you get arrested?
that was good. I'm sorry.
Gotta understand, officer.
All right, let Atreus finish. Don't
They
interrupt.
don't know what they want
Let
until I
Atreus
give them what they need.
this chick,
Just make him sound like a Night Stalker.
Come on,
this
Atreus.
woman
Let him finish.
literally did not know that she liked very masculine men until she went out on a limb and went out on a date with one and realized, holy fucking shit, this is actually what I like. And then there was the video of the girl some months ago, the one that was like, damn, like why is all of the masculine men conservative? It's because the women don't know what they fucking want, bro.
Yes,
all of the people that are working
neither
for
do
you.
liberals.
Atreus, you said Matt Walsh got in trouble for the video. Hold on, that part I'm missing. When did that happen? What do you mean?
On Twitter, on Twitter, I saw it. I think he made a retweet of the video before he made his video, and so he kind of went viral, especially in the red pill community, because you know trad cons are very like anti-red pill, and so all of the red pills was jumping on like yeah, see Matt Walsh, and I don't want to take it to no red pill joint. I just want to when you're marketing to women, you have to understand that. I hate to say this, and you know this might give some oxygen to Mr. Reality Base over there. It sounds misogynistic, but the truth of the matter is, women are damn near like children sometimes, bro. Like they think they want this until you give them what they need, and they're like, oh, this is better. Because women will tell you all day long, this is what we want, this is what we want, this is what we want, and you give it to them, and they don't fucking buy it. And now you're sitting there with your investment in hand, trying to figure out. It's like the nice guy, right? Women say all the time, "We want nice guy, we want nice guy."
No, they want bastards.
No. That video was alpha. Like she was talking about alphas. She didn't want. She was dating betas. That's what that was. That I remember that video.
Beta orbises,
and she's never been with an alpha before, and then she started dating alphas, like Atreus was saying, and it was like life changing for her. And it was just like, bitch, like you're all you wanted is a toady.
To be dominated by a
strong
man.
There's a certain amount of anthropological level of this where if a guy crumbles when a woman is complaining and whining at him, and he engages and argues, and it gets all big and gets heated, then the guy looks weak. And ultimately, on a subconscious, on a precognitive fucking dawn of man level, the woman will not see him as someone who can protect her and any potential viable children that she would have. So ultimately, that guy is no use to her. In the end, it's a guy who can stoically take every piece of crap that she throws at him, who she will end up staying with. And I've lived this. It's actually happened to me, where when I first met my current partner, I was still figuring a lot of shit out, and I didn't get much respect at all. And when I started to figure things out and make money and do well and stop being a bitch about life's little problems, suddenly things started to click perfectly into place. It's nature. You can't do anything about it.
And if you would allow me, I could to give more context to it about the way that you market to women and understand that they have to be they don't know what they need. I have a personal story. My car, I bought it from my ex. She's with a dude she's trying to escape with. She needed help, so I just bought it from her instead of going to buy my own car. I just to help her out, and I pay her a certain amount every month or whatever. And I guess she got into financial trouble or something like that, and she tried to swindle me. You know what I'm saying? She tried to act like I owe her more than what I owe her. I showed her receipts or whatever the case may be. And when she got upset, because I guess she was just going through something, she tried to act like she wanted to come take, the car. And I'm like, you don't realize I'm doing you a favor. So I told her you can come get the car, even though legally, if I was to really take it to court, I would win. But she really went off. I don't want to go into all of the things that she was saying, but she was really going off as if she was in the right. And then I told her, I kind of set her down and started getting mad myself. I said, you need to really sit down and think about what the fuck you're about to do, because I'm going to be straight with this. And a couple of days passed and she apologized. And the point I'm trying to make with that story is that women think emotionally in the moment. Yes. And if you allow them to do so, they will fuck themselves up. They'll fuck their own situation up. If she would have came and got her car and I would have stopped paying her, she would have been financially ruined. And it's you're having a tough go and you're going to ruin yourself because you think you're ruining me. Okay, good luck. And she thought about it and she came back and apologized. And the point, and that's just the point. You have to understand that you got to give women what they need and not what they want. That's why Barbie did well. Ain't no woman in Hollywood would have told you that Barbie being a girly girl with pink and the dresses and the dancing and the singing and all of that would have made $1 billion. They would have said it would have been successful, but not $1 billion. Women showed you their power at the box office when they did that. So when you start giving women these fucking masculine, like Jenna Ortega said it, it's cool with the cars and the shit blowing up in the background, but that's not me. I want to play content. I want to play complex women who are emotional and damaged and stuff like that, because that's how they are in real life.
Confused.
Do you know what show actually mentions exactly what you just said? The Euphoria show. Literally, that show is all about, the reason it's doing so well and why it's going to get a second season is because all the female characters are very complex, emotional people, and they're all damaged in one way or another. And
not
they act like real people.
Interrupt you, but the girl that Jenna Ortega was doing that interview with, she was in Euphoria, right, Dragon?
Well, I would have to look at the interview and see who it is, but I'm quite sure.
I don't think Jenna Ortega was in it.
Jenna Ortega was not in Euphoria.
No, she was being. They were interviewing each other. They was doing that variety interview with each other. And she's the one that said it. She was like
Zendaya, whatever her name is.
Oh, Zendaya.
No, not Zendaya.
Not
Zendaya. It wasn't Zendaya.
No. Was it a blonde? Was it the blonde girl that?
I think so.
That's Rachel Hunter or Rachel Schaefer, whatever that.
Let's just call it female and be done with it.
Maybe it was.
I'll pull it up.
Sydney Sweeney. Is it Sydney Sweeney or?
No,
is
it
it-
was-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or Hunter-
Women
about the
need to be
nature of men and
dominated
women. We get it, right?
by strong men. That is the future. The
Well, that
past
leaves you
is the
out.
future.
Yeah, and not in like
Get
a way.
fucked. I've never been divorced. Get fucked.
In a way that lets them realize that it's okay to be a woman.
Her name is Ella Fanning.
Now, what?
Whoa,
Whoa, that was
Elle
off
Fanning.
base.
that's
Fanning.
way off.
Hey,
I thought you said
Atreus,
Fanny.
do you want
Fanny,
some
Fanning.
Ella Fanny?
I want some hella Fanny.
How does this play into
Sorry,
So many
Americans.
of
the
In
American
England,
comic
Fanny
book
means
industry?
vagina.
How does this
I
play
know.
into it? Because if
I
you say
wasn't
women don't
really-
know what they want, and I agree, right? And we've seen this with movies too, right? Where they do look at the Marvels. The Marvels super ultra girl boss movie. Like it's a girl led movie. The villain's a girl. The heroes are
Male
girls.
things.
And women didn't go support it. We know that
No.
factually, statistically, right? So why is that? Like why continue to constantly push this stuff? Why try to get a female all Avengers team, which I think got scrapped? Why try to push all these comic books that are clearly aimed at women? Why do all this when you know that your demographic is not that? You know, and it kind of goes to the question we had earlier, right? Where you were asking about Twitch not necessarily being not about profits and not about just straight messaging. Well, so what is this then? Is this about? It can't be about profits. It's got to be impossible at this point, right? This is not
it's
about
definitely not
profits.
about
So
profits. It's about
so why keep
ideology.
doing it? They've been doing this for a long time now, and it's not working. So
Well,
it just
back
keeps
in the
making
day,
Because they're brainwashed, indoctrinated fucks who think
Are
that
you-
this is actually the future.
Are you asking
Back-
me, or are you just asking in general?
I'm
back
asking
in
in
the
general, but I guess
60s
I can actually too, since we brought up the Twitch thing earlier.
Well, back in the 60s, DC and Marvel had slice of life comics, like where they had Wonder Woman. She was like working, she had a job, she was
Oh, when she
know,
was that when she
doing
wrote
fashion.
lost her powers? That
Hmm.
era?
Yeah, and then you had like
Jesus.
more
They made
female
her into
characters doing
she would like walk around in like a pantsuit. It was like weird.
Yeah, they had like that movement, like that was that feminism movement back in the 60s, right? So they were changing everything over, and you had a lot of and don't forget, and remember, like the comics back then, they were primarily sold in the colleges. Like they were big with older adults or younger adults, but now it's like it's they're trying to do the same thing, but it's played out really bad because it's not. It's the market's changed. You're not getting the 20-year-old females buying comics. They're into something completely different. So, do you have to? Marvel and DC really have to change things around. They have to like get back to their roots and like hit the colleges, hit the college scene, hit like that 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. And
Good
bring
luck
that
with
back.
that.
It won't
Yeah,
happen. It
no.
won't happen.
The
It won't
so
happen.
actually,
Yeah,
well, the main problem was, the other article that's about it that speaks on that they basically bought these franchises. Disney bought Star Wars, they bought Marvel, and it was the whole point was we're buying these boy brands because we can't, for the fuck of us, make a boy brand. It just doesn't work anymore. And really, what passes down through these generations, the love of these things is from generation to generation. Yeah, for a long time the comics would change with certain parts, with certain parts of the zeitgeist, they would change things, but for the most part the core values of the heroes stayed the same for decades.
Yeah.
And in the last I always say the turning point was around 2010 was when it really started. The core values of a lot of these heroes completely changed. And now you don't have the father who loved Spider-Man or Captain America or whatever hero going, "Hey son, this is what I loved." And that's where they severed the connection right there. Bang. It was like hitting the brain stem. It was done.
You're right about that. It's just that the thing is these these up and coming writers that think they are better than the previous generations, instead of respecting them and trying to figure out what actually worked, they completely think they can do better, and they make these characters that have absolutely no core values, and they don't realize the basic concept that most of the core moral values that a lot of these superhero characters have are timeless. Like they can pass through time. The concept of a father teaching their son so that they don't commit the same mistakes that they did that's timeless. A woman struggling through hard times because of bad choices she made or just bad situations thrusted upon them. That's something that can lead to a core value being developed. They seem to forget where it all began, and that's something that I've been seeing lately in not only like the superhero genre, but like every single movie. You have these writers making characters that they have no origin point that you can at least relate to somewhat in order to make a connection. There are some projects where they do that, but in a lot of cases, I've just been seeing that they just make these soulless characters that they expect people to connect to.
Now there isn't.
Sorry, DarkHour, go ahead.
I was going to say it's not that there's no like good writers even still left in the big two. Okay. I mean, there are a lot of them, but they are the majority are what you're saying. Like there are writers that are still. A lot of them have gone more press. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of them have moved toward more Indiegogo kind of stuff. And but like Ed Brubaker is a fantastic writer, one of my favorites, and he's he's very modern, like very much a modern writer, but he knows still how to work within the limits of what's going on. But he is one of very few that are left.
Here's the problem is like you're seeing these female writers come in thinking they can change the game by inserting themselves into these characters instead of serving the character, which is that great debate of Barbie and Lego, the science project or science or the whatever that lab they did back in, I think it was the 80s, when they wanted girls to play with Lego and they didn't know how to do it. But you got these women activists and you have all these people that are coming in and with these agendas, putting it into the books, and it's ruining these IPs. They have no idea what the lore is, and they're just creating shit. So in order to get, and plus you have editors that have no idea what's going on, and you need a strong leader on top. Like when you had Jim Shooter there, he was like the top dog, and everyone knew it.
He'd bring the hammer down if you were going out of line. That was the thing about Jim Shooter.
Now you got people that have no idea what's going on.
This quote on the screen is totally correct. Like, if you look at what guys like about, say, the superhero genre or action movies in general, is you've got a guy who overcomes his problems, becomes competent, becomes powerful, and able to handle himself in any situation. Basically, that is the timeless aspect of going from zero to hero. And girls respond to that just as much as guys do because they find it attractive. So if you get a reasonably decent-looking guy in a movie role where he's mastering something and overcoming adversity and becoming strong, girls respond just as much, if not more, to that than guys do. Yeah, which is why if you turn every male character into a beta who whines and is ambiguous about his sexuality, the girls are going to run faster away than the guys will.
No, and the thing is, they had genres of stories, right? They were for specific audiences, but now what they started to do was that they would take, notorious male characters or male stories or whatever you want to call it, and they would try to feminize it. And it just doesn't work because these stories weren't inherently aimed at females to begin with. So when you just throw in a bunch of Mary Sues in there, you're going to immediately turn off the demographic that you were supposed to be aiming for in the first place, and you're not gonna garner any real new audience. We've seen it. They haven't garnered any audience since. They're losing people, really. Like that's really what's happening. They're not gaining any new audience members whatsoever. So doing all this stuff really does nothing for your fan base. You're not growing the clientele. You're not growing anything. You're just turning people off from what otherwise would have been fine. The fact that for me, I think the biggest eye opener was when the Superman comic, the one where they turned his son gay. That comic, when that comic bombed so hard, that comic did unbelievably bad compared to every other Superman comic that ever came out beforehand. And that was a big sign that you turned a moneymaker like Superman and you turned it into a fucking like not even the first issue I think sold 60,000. Every Superman comic book before that sold over 100,000 copies easily plus, so it did half of what most Superman comics do. And that's because you feminized them. You turned them into something that was just fucking stupid, to be honest with you.
Superman got buggered in prison, didn't he? In one comic, they had him get.
I don't know, bro. They turned him gay. Then they made him into a climate. They made Superman into a climate activist. Like literally.
Yeah, that's his son, though. But they had actual Clark Kent.
No, I know.
But they did that.
In prison, didn't
they did that with Spider-Man, like that multiverse shit. They made a gay Spider-Man. They made a wheelchair Spider-Man. They made it's the quick labels.
But Spider-Man is the most tokenized character in comics. He has there is a variation for everybody and every living thing on this planet. There is a Spider-Man for it.
What boy's going to go into the local comic book shop and say, "Mom, I want the wheelchair Spider-Man"? Like
cripples?
Like seriously.
No, not
No,
even.
right. No, they don't
He has
either.
no legs, and he doesn't
No,
fucking read crippled Spider-Man.
They get offended by it. As the one who has to swing around with the wheelchair on his back.
You know what's funny when you mentioned Spider-Man in a wheelchair? If you told that same kid, "Hey, do you want to buy and read Spider-Man in a wheelchair, or do you want to watch an 80s movie called Mr. No Legs, where a dude with no legs beats the crap out of gangsters?"
Mr. No Legs.
I'm not kidding. That's a real movie.
That's a real movie.
No, I know.
Dragon, stop talking. You're always derailing.
What?
I'm not. As a boy, you want to watch a character that can use his legs,
that can overcome. That's the thing.
Because you put you're watching someone that you like idolize and you want to be like why would you want to watch someone else in a wheelchair? Like, oh, this is
Well, Western culture was built on triumphing in against adversity, against great foes that were going to exterminate us. Let's be fair, open, and honest about it. And since the end of the Second World War until, I don't know, the late 80s, we had this mindset of, from zero to hero, you can go far, you can do well. It's the American ideal, the American dream. Yet one side wanted to destroy that so they could have their revenge for a Cold War lost. But please continue with the article if you wish.
Well, I just wanted to point out one thing. So the fact is, again, there was different genres. Genres exist for a reason, right? You're supposed to tailor your story to a specific audience. There's nothing wrong with trying to diversify said audience, but you have to make it make sense, right? Like you cannot take something that was very masculine, turn it feminine, and expect to, one, keep your previous audience, and two, act as if you're going to garner any sort of different audience from doing so. And so when someone like Chuck Dixon, who's been doing this way longer than any of us have even thought about, says something like this, right? So he says, Archie, young romance, sold 3.5 million copies a month for years. And then he said, you have lots of romance titles. You had Archie, and girls were reading regular comics too. They were reading Little Lulu and Uncle Scrooge and Green Lantern. My sisters read Green Lantern because they thought Hal Jordan was cute. Now, something as simple as that, how like a character being cute to a female, whatever, like you have to tailor to your audience. And the problem is these writers of today anyway, they feel as if they can just input whatever, like they could self-insert themselves into literally anything, and that it's somehow going to be stunning and brave or successful just by doing that and that alone. And it never makes any sense.
Well, what's incredible about this, they read Hal Jordan because he was cute. That seems anecdotal on the surface. It seems like Chuck Dixon just being like, "Oh yeah, this was my anecdotal experience." But here's something that backs that up. So, does everybody remember when Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker came out, where they made Link look all cartoony?
There was like backlash, and now it's 2001,
it goes beyond with a reason. It goes beyond a backlash. Nintendo actually received letters, furious, from a bunch of girl gamers and teenagers because Link was no longer the sexy sort of hunky character he was in Ocarina of Time. They took that character model that was based off of Leonardo DiCaprio, and they made him this goofy look. Again, I like the art style, but the point is they made him what these girls thought of as some sort of weird, cutesy little thing that wasn't the good-looking Leo DiCap type. And Nintendo literally got angry letters from female gamers in the early 2000s because of it. It's women like playing as, like, whether it be comics, reading them, and video games, they like playing as strong male characters, and it's verifiable. It's not just an anecdotal story; it's verifiable.
It's no different than the defeminization of Lara Croft. It goes the same way.
Yes, they do that too.
But one thing I wanted to point out, and this article is a great example of that, is like a lot of people when they think of comics, and the majority of people in the world when they think of comics, they immediately think of Batman, Superman, superhero comics. But like this points out, and I love that this points out, comics is just a medium. It's not a genre. there's a lot of genres in there. Like you probably saw me digging around. This is a gimmick that always comes up because I'm always surrounded by comics. It's like this is one of my all-time favorite comics right here. It is not a superhero comic. It's by Ed Brubaker. It's called Criminal. It's a complete noir story. It's one of the best things I've ever read in my life. And it just like it does. They tried to take a medium and change it like as if take a genre and try to change it for one audience instead of just realizing it's a medium that you could use for an audience. And that was the main
I make
problem.
that same argument about anime when people say they don't like anime or whatever. Like, it's a genre, not a medium, or it's a medium, not a genre. You know, so when you see these Western anime studios changing dialogue, like these Western studios are going in and redubbing the dialogue, and they're adding things like preferred pronouns, so they're completely changing the context. Like there's this anime where this dude gets turned into a chick. Like that's the premise, is he gets magically turned into a girl, and he hates it. He's trying to get turned back into a boy. And the Western dubs started changing the audio, the dialogue, to make him accepting it and how he was actually trans. And it was fucking baffling. So that goes back to, look, if you want to have a story like that, I'm sure there are stories like there's very trans-friendly stories or whatever in anime, because anime's got a bunch of different genres. But you see the active attempt to erase and change existing popular genres for modern Western sensibilities.
Exactly. I agree with that. But unfortunately, this is what happens when you have certain media get translated in the Western market. It almost always gets into some garbage like that. This is why, like, I have issues. Obviously, I can only read English, right? But like in manga, they do it with manga too. They try to change certain things, certain words, and no, they change certain words, they change certain meanings, and you can chop it up to translation issues or whatever. But some of it's really not translation issues. Some of it is pretty obvious that they were changing the meaning of a certain phrase or whatever to try to change the scene in a way. And it's unfortunate.
Regionalization or
they regionalize it, whatever you want to call it. And it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? They really should stick to what the original was, whatever that may be. But that's what happens in the West, man. And this is why American comics, that's where they're at. It's an unfortunate situation, but I'm glad that someone like Chuck is actually kind of fighting against it, because like I said earlier, if anybody's gonna try to help save the comic book industry, it's got to be from people who actually care about it, and he's definitely one of those people, without a doubt.
I'm amazed he's still firing on all cylinders at the age of 70, pumping out great creations, even at an age where most professionals would consider retiring. So good on him. Hopefully
he
does
writes
it
papers, not
more.
fucking lifts buildings for a living. What are we?
He's white and a professional, Atreus.
Well, honestly, Ryan, like he's got a fire in his ass because he got pushed out by the top two mainstream comics. They pushed him out. So him and Nolan are just fueled by, how dare they like, as much as you want to say like, oh, they were, right wing, looking white men, but it's ageism, and they were just pushing him up because they were not, in their minds, not modern enough. Yet these guys are creating great stuff. So it kind of fed the fire for Dixon and Graham Nolan and Lepresti and all these guys that finally get a chance to create something on their own and not have that, over that editor overlooking them and saying this is not woke enough for overseers.
Yeah,
like all they want is toadies in those mainstream places now. They just want yes men. That's all they want.
Chuck Dixon has especially amongst and Graham Nolan as well. They're so intrinsically connected, but they have both kind of like basically grabbed the torch and ran with it as like almost out of a feeling of obligation. They're like, we have to make sure that we continue it the way it's supposed to be. And like Dixon has like multiple times has gotten in a lot of hot water for it, and he just he keeps pushing forward, and now because of things like the Rippaverse, he gets work, which is great that he has that ability.
No, I agree. Sorry, I was trying to read something else that he said. So there is another article on bounding. Let me bring this up really quick.
There's a couple of
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
have,
talks
but
about the
like,
second one.
but just to say, I mean, I have like so much, like a majority of my collection over like on my one shelf for DC. It's like I have a whole shelf that is just Chuck Dixon. It's insane.
Damn.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah, it
it's
is.
literally his entire Batman run, his entire.
Yep.
I have all of
Nice.
his Nightwing run, which is some of the best comics you'll
Yep.
ever read.
This title, there's something great about it, and it's the fact they put Alpha Core. Now, this is not. Let's be real. As great as the Air July stuff is, Alpha Core is not going to be as well known as like his runs on DC or Marvel. But they're using Alpha Core to get people to recognize his name in attachment to that instead of the big two, to show the change and shift in the modern comics industry, and that's a little bit of social subliminal messaging that I think is. I mean, is that propaganda? Technically, but that's the right kind of propaganda. Like, this is a good title from Bounding.
Yeah.
From their new commander-in-chief, yes.
It says Alpha Core writer Chuck Dixon blasts Disney's mishandling of Marvel and Lucasfilm, says they screwed both of them up in the worst ways you can imagine. Now, someone like Chuck coming out and saying things against companies as big as Disney and Lucasfilm, which is obviously under Disney, again, it goes to show that you need people like this to speak out against this kind of stuff, because they can't just write off Chuck Dixon. They can't just write him off as some YouTuber. They can't just write him off as some like just random who's just mad nerds. You know what I mean? Like they can't just, you can't write off Chuck Dixon. When someone like Chuck says something like this, you have to listen, right? Like the guy's been in this industry for a long fucking time. He obviously knows his stuff. He's been doing this for way longer than most people have been alive. But the thing is, that's what they hate, and this is the biggest way to make a change. When you have someone like this who speaks out against this stuff, it's huge. It's huge because it means more. It means more than your random YouTuber. It means more than your random whoever. It means more when people this big speak out against this stuff. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree, but that's why I like seeing this.
I agree, but.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'll be quick about it. For real. In my opinion, I think that in both business and just in life, but specifically for Disney, having a bunch of high corporate executives and your CEO being constantly surrounded by a bunch of yes men who are under the influence of a certain type of ideology, whatever it is never healthy. If you want proper growth and you want to make proper films or TV shows that people are going to care about, you're going to need someone like Chuck that's going to tell them, hey, you're fucking up. I don't care if you get mad at me or you threaten to fire me. I am going to hurt your ego so much that you're going to listen and we're going to fix this. That is something. Fuck you, Steve. Yeah,
I totally agree. I totally agree because I had Thomas. I had Thomas Healy on. He's the editor-in-chief of Spawn Comics, and he talked about how him and Todd McFarlane will debate things. And they you'd think that Todd would just be it's his way and that's it. But Thomas Healy actually challenges him on a lot of things, and he's not afraid to. He might disagree with Todd and say, no, you shouldn't do that this way because it's going to come out like this, whatever. And I was like, I thought that was really refreshing because a lot of the times you get those people when you get into that kind of position, you're just a yes man. Yes. Whatever Todd wants, I'm going to do. But he actually will, stand up and say he doesn't believe in what is being produced at that time or doesn't like what's being produced.
No, but here's the thing, Jay, to build up on that. Also, not only at the corporate level, but also on the project level when, you have these certain movies and shows being made and then everybody is wondering, why are these things, how do they turn out so wrong? And usually the answer to that is not always that they're influenced by ideology. Yes, some are, but in general, it's just the fact that whoever was the director on set or the actor on set, nobody told them, hey, just calm down. We need to focus here. You're messing up. We need to move in this direction. No, it's just, we seem to live in a world these days, at least in entertainment, where we have a bunch of yes men, no people that step in and say, hey, this is the line. Don't cross it. If you do, I'm going to push you back. We don't
Dragon,
have that. No
Dragon, have you ever told an angry man to be calm, to stay calm?
Yes, and if they don't, I just get into a fucking fight. It happens.
But then you get people like Snyder who thinks he does everything right.
Lord.
And
Don't get me started with Snyder.
To be fair though, you were just look at all these yes men saying Rebel Moon is bad instead of thinking for themselves. You know,
the vagina scene is good.
I actually haven't done that, Leon. I've reserved my judgment for when I've actually got time to watch it.
I saw that movie.
I
saw that movie almost a week ago at this point because I live close enough to New York to go see the early showing. I knew that movie was. I wish my review came out before it came out on Netflix to warn people. So I made up my mind before there was an opinion.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I would have gone to see it in theater. I thought the Netflix release was supposed to be the director's cut. Apparently, that was not accurate. It's not the director's cut's not out yet. I would have gone to see it in theater.
Yeah, delaying the director's cut because as everyone pointed out correctly, I might add that if you release two different versions of the film at the same time and claim one is superior and that version is the home Netflix version, you've just fucked your entire box office. So they delayed.
Well, I mean, their box office it wasn't about box office anyway for that one. I know I don't want to derail the topic we had, but it wasn't about box office anyway because it was only like in 4 theaters in the United States with like 3 showings a day. It wasn't going to be like this big box office. Those were like sneak previews. That's all they were.
Like they want to make it like a
argument
Netflix
that people
exclusive.
use. They'll talk about how the Daily, look at this Daily Wire movie that made $2,000 in theaters. Like, well, look, first of all, I'm the first person to blast Daily Wire movies. I think they're just as propagandizing as fucking movies coming out of the left. But let's be real, they're behind a Daily Wire paywall, and they occasionally get a limited theatrical release as like as a form of marketing. It's so disingenuous to be like Terror on the Prairie made $1,000. What a lame ass movie! Like, you paid the Daily Wire to watch it. It was in like 2 theaters.
Yeah, like
I want to be surrounded by yes men to just do this, be here at this time, talk about this. I'd love to be surrounded by yes men. I call them regulars, and I call passionate viewers loyalists. So I like the command and control economy. Look, I'm Chinese.
Wouldn't you prefer Yavel men than yes men?
I don't understand.
That's so funny, Will.
I don't get the reference. I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Shocker. Ryan wants to be surrounded by men.
There was an entire rant earlier about fucking Dragon Slayer using esoteric lingo, then he doesn't know what Yavel means.
Oh my god. No, even I get it, and I'm not that well acquainted with British lingo. I just decipher shit. Oh man,
unbelievable.
Dude. No,
it's German. Let's just say it's
where are you gonna stay? Because I know you were gonna. No, go ahead. What's up, man? Come on.
No, there's one thing I would like to say.
What do you mean you don't remember?
I don't. Oh, a black man doesn't remember like 30 something.
Minutes ago.
Yeah,
bro, it was like 5.
Look, there's one thing that would be a nightmare for me as a creator, whether it's a comic creator or as a content creator, and that's
why people on your stream.
No, we love black people on our stream. No, the nightmare scenario, in all seriousness, is when you start something, when you start a channel, when you start a comic, when you start a business. The worst thing for me personally would be to get fucking chucked out of the very thing you founded. To me, that's a nightmare scenario.
Yeah,
it's not something I would ever like to
down
experience.
Or something, yeah.
And I feel sorry for those who suffer such a fate. So I don't like it when say prominent comic creators like Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, who were part of the comics establishment, the entertainment establishment, then they get booted out because their views go against the grain. It's good that they're going their own way. Despite being elderly men, they are doing very well, and long may that continue.
Yeah.
But do you really think there's any saving the comic book industry at this point?
Only the way that it is happening. Only with a parallel economy.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Do you think there's any saving the American comic book industry?
I don't think any.
At least the mainstream version of it. I'm not talking like independent.
Oh well, okay. For Marvel and DC, like I think that there's always room for other brands to. I think somebody did say a parallel economy. I mean, for quite a while, their Image had closed the gap precipitously, between them and Marvel and DC, because they allowed for more creative control of their. Basically, their DC and Marvel own everything as an entity, and everything that they have is copyrighted. Whereas Image is just a distribution company, so it was kind of what a lot of these are doing now, even by themselves ahead of time. So
I could be wrong, but in like 2005, Dark Horse was also really climbing the ranks.
Dark Horse operates slightly differently than Image, but it's not too dissimilar. But Dark Horse they do a lot more limited stuff though, so it does.
But
it was always harder for them to keep up.
What you're seeing now is you're seeing all these creators, like you're seeing Jeff Johns, Jason Fabik. There's so many others, like the legendary artists and writers that were in the business for so long. They're leaving and creating, like they created Ghost Machine. They're producing their own comics. You got Frank Miller and Dan DiDio. They're creating their own, like it's Frank Miller Presents. They're creating their own brand. They're all getting away from the mainstream. What's going to happen is those mainstream comics are going to be licensed out IPs. You're going to see probably you're going to see like Todd McFarlane do a Batman run, like Silvestri just did a Batman run, like the Deadly Duo. It was a great series, fantastic art, great storyline. You're going to see more of that. You're going to see them just kind of license it out to whoever and make money off of that. It's not. They're not.
So do you think they're going down the? Sorry, just want to ask this real quick. So you think? Because I do need to mention that everyone on chat is not aware, and some of the panel. Prime one time showed me like this 1.5 hour documentary on the history of DC Comics specifically, and from what I noticed, they and Marvel have the same pattern that Disney does, which is that there are certain points in their lifetime cycles, just put it that way, where they have a precarious situation, like right now, where people are not buying as many comics because of whatever issues happening at the time, and then in a certain conjunction, something happens, like these specific comic book writers and artists come in, like the special A team, as you call it. They come in, they save everything, or in another instance, the companies themselves choose to adapt to the change, but only after suffering considerable losses do they finally find the solution to that problem. I feel like, in general, they seem to be going more towards the latter, where, you know, what Dark said, what's going to happen is they're going to see the net losses eventually, or if they're not seeing them yet, they're going to see the net losses accumulate. And what's going to happen is they are definitely going to license the IPs out to all these former talented writers and other independent writers. And what's going to end up happening is the brand will expand, and a net positive will eventually be born, giving birth to a new business philosophy and a different DC/Marvel. But that takes time. It's not going to happen from one day to the other. This is going to take years, and it's going to take a lot of steps.
I don't know. I think you look at Sony, what they're doing with Spider-Man. Disney's sitting back and just taking in the money that the percentages of what Sony's producing for Spider-Man. For the game,
that's what I'm about to bring up. Is we need these companies to start being more selective, though, about who they put that. Okay, like take IDW.
That's
for example.
also true.
IDW is purely existing on G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Sonic the Hedgehog. If they did not have those three licenses, they would be they would be done as a company.
Didn't they lose the Transformers license?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think with this year they lost Transformers.
They have
so
Star. I think they have
actually,
Star Trek.
if they lose G.I. Joe and Sonic, they are effectively done as a company. What we need is these parent companies. You see Nintendo do this, be more protective over their intellectual property and only give it to somebody that you know will produce a quality product. Because I mean, if you take something like, Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the only comics that I've been reading in the modern day that's from a big company, IDW, not as big as Marvel or DC, but still a mainstream company, that I've not seen anything political one way or the other. Ian Flynn, the main writer, he doesn't care. He was writing on the recent games. He was writing on the movies. You go see a Sonic movie, you would not know whether or not where the politics are in that. And that's, I think more companies need to follow that route, or need to be like Nintendo and be like, hey, XYZ company has given a proven track record of making money without causing outrage or controversy. And that's the big deal. Look at the internet, look at the whether it be looking at both Kotaku and bounding into comics, or looking at Twitter, just be like, hey, who has garnered the least amount of negative press from either and or both sides? Give the IP to them.
So there was a couple of statements
yeah.
in there, by the way. So yeah, they used to do that. The one thing I did pick out is they used to essentially have in the industry. It was originally you were like contracted to just DC. DC was like the king for a while. They used to be the distributor for Marvel years ago. That's why a lot of the early characters were in Action Comics. Sorry, not Action Comics. Sorry, Tales of Suspense and stuff like that. They were.
Well, that's also why they were able to do like the Amalgamverse crossovers in the 90s.
Well, the reason why they had to do like Tales of Suspense and stuff was because they only were allowed to distribute X number of books per month, and so they had to. They essentially did them as anthologies. So then what ended up happening was when Marvel split off, there was like, the company wars, who was working for who was. Some people ascended to a level where they essentially became like almost freelance guys that would go in for very short contracts and write. Frank Miller being one of the most famous.
Yeah. I think Mark Millar did that as well.
Mark Millar did it. There's a lot, but Frank Miller was kind of like the first one to really do that. I mean, Jack Kirby back in the day bounced between them, but it wasn't at the same level where like Frank.
Yeah, well, he was doing it because he would get individually pissed off at each company and he would bounce back and forth. Yeah, fuck you, DC.
So that's kind of the way that ended up happening. But now it's a completely different type of economy for that now.
And Leon, to get to your point about IDW, they are complete woke. Like they have Heather Antos.
Oh, you know, as a
people part of the Whisper.
Yes.
They run the Whisper network, and they're all about trying to.
IDW as a company is absolute woke garbage. What I'm talking about is the individual IPs and the people writing for those IPs. Like Ian Flynn. If Ian Flynn, for example, is woke, he doesn't fucking talk about it because he's intelligent. I've never once seen Ian Flynn say anything political. Period. And you know what? If he wants to vote for Biden and he agrees with fucking little kids cutting their dicks off, at least he is smart enough to have never said it publicly so that people keep buying Sonic the Hedgehog comics, because that and G.I. Joe is all that is keeping IDW alive. That is it.
And they're dying. They're actually struggling mightily. They're going to be probably non-existent within a year.
Absolutely, because it was who was published Archie before. The company was just Archie, and Archie went Archie had the original Sonic run, and they eventually sold it off to IDW because Archie went under.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, guys, let me just read some super chats really fast. I Cthulhu for 5 says, women comic readers read BL and villainous manga for strong men. They will never accept the beta male girl power Western comics. Well, I agree with that. General Vague for 20 says, does Panel have any predictions if things will get more or less woke in 2024? Have they learned their lesson, or is it time for them to double down? They're doubling down.
Let's take turns here, because this is we're all going to have very different opinions.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's start with Leon on the chatterbox.
Not words. Will was speaking first. He should say his piece first.
Yeah, Will. Go
I just think it'll get further split. I think I know it's kind of a fence-y position to have, but I think that we are definitely seeing a massive rising tide of backlash to wokeness in general. It's happening across the board. People are getting more and more organized. Parallel economies are starting to form as independents come in with Rippaverse and stuff like that. So you're going to see more of that, definitely. But at the same time, the real heels in the ground guys who are on the woke side will double down, triple down, and watch everything burn around them. So I think it'll just be a more extreme version of 2023, especially because the US election is also happening. And it's just going to polarize. Yep. That's what I think. Anyone else?
So I think that technically we are going to see things get less woke if you actively look. However, cursory glances, things are going to look more woke because this shit is coming to it. Honestly, I think we've already crested the hill, and I think it's already on the downswing. But on the downswing is why I've noticed the most amount of anti-woke idiots spouting nonsense without research. So you'll see things like what we got with the Furiosa trailer, or like people calling the main character in Rebel Moon and Mary Sue, for example. These people will still cling to anything that may be perceived as woke, even when it verifiably isn't, because they're holding on to that last bastion of something to fight against. The woke people will double down, like Will said, and the anti-woke people will find they'll have less to attack, so they will start inventing enemies to attack to keep that revenue stream going. So while there will be less woke shit, really look out for anti-woke people who are going to become the new enemy.
I think we already answered that a lot tonight with like I mentioned the Ghost Machine. A lot of those creators are leaving. They're creating their own thing. You're seeing actors come out and speak out against a lot of this. They're saying everything that they're producing is trash. The writing, the direction in Hollywood. You're seeing like Chris Pratt. You're seeing Jamie Foxx. You're seeing a list of celebrities coming out and talking about like Charlie Hunnam. Just turned down Green Arrow. I think I mentioned this last week. Turned down the Green Arrow because he experienced Rebel Moon, but
did he really though?
Also,
because he barely said anything really in that movie. So
did
he really experience Rebel Moon?
Yeah, that's probably why. But I mean, like you're seeing a lot of these actors seeing the writing on the wall with a lot of these IPs and movies, and they're just like, I don't want to do this shit. You're seeing we mentioned her earlier, Jenna Ortega. She's come out and spoke out against this a lot. You're seeing a lot of actors. You saw what's her name? Milani. She spoke out.
That
and
kid
it
knows
was
trigger words. Be careful.
But it's the best answer. I think it's the best answer of the year when she was asked about, how bad the Marvels was and everything. And she said, that's my job is just the act. You go ask Kevin Feige and everything. So you're seeing more and more people be, proactive. Yeah. You're being more proactive and, being cautious of what they say and what they do because they don't want to be left or right. They just want to do their fucking jobs. That's all they want to do is make money and do their jobs. So I agree with Leon. Everything's starting to come down. Yeah.
I just like, what was that, Atreus?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, folks, when the establishment is on the back foot, whether it's political or in pop culture, they usually go on a purging spree. And I think we're going to see that in 2024, like we saw 5 to 6 years ago, around late 2010s, early 2020s, when prominent
purged everyone already.
No, pop culture-based content creators. And I'm including this show in that, and Hypno, if he keeps on going and keeps on growing. When the establishment sees forces of any kind, doesn't matter if they have the support of millions or the support of tens of thousands. If you are a threat to their system, they will purge you. Thankfully, when they did that to prominent political creators in 2018, famously with Alex Jones, he was able to build an alternative. And I think the same will happen with prominent pop culture content creators. They will be purged in 2024. That's my prediction. They will then build alternatives, and hopefully Hypno will not be purged. Otherwise, reality-based will really turn into a refugee camp. And then creators who are up and coming have the support of, say, low tens of thousands, high thousands. They fill the void. And then in the next 4 to 5 years, they grow. And then they get purged again, to delay the inevitable. Because our establishment...
Yeah, but they can't stop us forever.
Exactly.
I think Ryan, I think it started with Johnny Depp fighting back. I think that's when it really started. Like, because everyone was like, that was the height of the Me Too movement. Everyone was on Amber Heard's side. And then Johnny Depp said, no, fuck that. I'm fighting back. And that changed the wave. That threw everyone in a mix. That's when it really started to...
So
it didn't hurt that his lawyer was a woman as well.
No.
And I think that a lot of it is going to, as far as the prediction about things getting more or less woke, I think the biggest domino that we're waiting to fall is to see what happens with Disney and if Nelson and Company actually take the board seats. Because if they do and they start getting their way and you start seeing, I mean, obviously you're not going to see too much change coming quickly, but if they get their way, I mean, we just heard about, don't know if it's true, it's just a rumor, but we just heard about Kevin Feige trying to make the X-Men more female focused. Now, if you get Nelson Peltz and Company on the board, I know we had guys like Ike Perlmutter years ago. I heard that he wrote a letter that said that female-led action films don't sell, and that was views like that is part of what got him ousted at Disney. If you get Ike Perlmutter and Company on, they're going to change some things, and people are going to wait to see if that actually brings Disney back to where they was during the pandemic, or at least right before the pandemic, and that's where people are going to start saying, okay, fuck it, we gotta let these fucking weirdos go. We gotta start purging people like Disney did, because Ryan was talking about purging people. Well, Disney already started that process. How many people did they fire?
Well, I'm
7,000?
talking about the establishment
Oh, yeah.
purging creators like us, Atreus.
Yeah,
Like
he
wiping
means
us
that
out,
they'll-
deplatforming us, the highest
Yeah, but I
form
mean,
of
at this
channel
point,
suppression.
let's say that find a way to get us. They're not going to get Rumble. They're not going to get X. They might get YouTube, but they're not going to actually take us off the board. I mean, look at Russell Brand. Russell Brand was accused of heinous shit that probably is, may or may not have some validity to it. Who knows? But at the end of the day, they were just that. They were accusations, nothing more. YouTube tried to bring down the ban hammer, and nothing came of it. It's been months. That story is dead and gone. He's continued to put out his videos. He's got, he's continued to get the same, if not more, support. I mean, people just don't fucking care anymore. And I think
this is
they have
it's actually
plenty
a
of
good
ammunition
point.
on me.
I mean, yeah, you set yourself up for it. But that's actually
you guys
that's the
are all associated. So
it's like people say the best way to respond to cancel culture or someone attempting to smear or cancel you is just to fucking ignore it. It's not to bite. Don't bite. Just don't go for it. Don't try to defend yourself. I mean, obviously, say what you have to say and then fucking move on. Get on with your life. Get back to work.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, don't drink Kool-Aid.
Don't even fight back. It's like trying to win a
I
fight.
actually
with a
disagree
woman.
with that. I disagree with that a little bit. I would say that you shouldn't apologize, but
that's it.
If somebody come out with some allegations, you do got to give an alternative story, and you got to let people decide, and you got to move on yourself. So if somebody come out with some allegations, you tell them, listen, this is what really happened. Y'all gonna believe what y'all want. Take it or leave it. Until there's charges that prove
what
that
the completionist should have done. Completionist should have kept his fucking. Should have been like, hey. Like it's that Shaggy song. It wasn't me.
Look, and don't throw fellow creators under the fucking bus, folks. We're all in the same boat, and if it sinks, we all sink with it. And I can't fucking swim in a Atreus.
What Ryan means to say is he is on all these buses and boats.
I can actually swim
away.
Fuck off. Can you swim?
You disproved his racist viewpoints. He is heavily damaged.
Here's the funny thing. Though. I can swim.
Damaged.
I can swim. I just can't open my eyes in the water. That shit is crazy.
Hey, if we all just sit here really quiet, you can hear the ladies screaming from the cellar locked up in Ryan's basement.
I don't have a fucking
cellar. Damn, bro.
That's the I enjoy tying women up.
Besides, that would imply that Ryan has at least lost his virginity, even if it was by force. So
No.
Stop spreading fake news.
He took the Jeffrey Dahmer approach. That's all fine and
Welcome
dandy.
to reality based. Here's how to get laid in 5 minutes. Step 1, buy a gun.
Step 2, get a car
buy
and some
some
rope. Step 3, find some random vagrant woman. Step
Oh.
4, threaten them with gun. Put them.
Okay,
Don't finish the steps.
Put them in car.
Don't finish the steps. Don't finish the steps.
To be honest, I think
do
Ryan
not
is
need to
physically
be added.
capable anyway.
Hands up, don't shoot. Remember, Atreus,
Step
hands up,
6,
don't shoot.
trick them with
You're
sheep.
getting roasted by everybody on the panel. You come at me. What's up with that?
Just like
Your low-hanging fruit.
Straight.
Well,
It's ready.
I do want to say something about like the super chat. So I think that for years the battle lines, if you will, were being drawn, in the sense of like the two extremes, the ultra non-woke and the ultra woke. And what's going to happen this upcoming year, because conveniently, as all of you have said, it's election year. They're just going to go at each other's throats. Both sides will suffer massive damage. Let's be honest here. Companies like Disney, what you're seeing right now is something that even a lot of insiders said, which is that a big purge is occurring of like the old projects that were approved years before they even began. Now, once most of those projects are purged by this year and 2025, we'll see what happens. But I think they're just going to go at each other, suffer big damage, and we're just all going to sit in the middle and benefit from it while seeing this all occurring. That's really it.
I
don't know if it's going to get worse, to be honest with you. I think...
Damn you, Will.
Just being real, I think it's going to stagnate a little bit. I think that over time, you're going to start seeing them be a lot more cautious in how they present it. I think they definitely realize, or at least some of them realize, that they were very heavy-handed in how they
for sure.
put their ideologies into certain shows, movies, or whatever. So they're definitely going to be a little more bait and switchy with it. I think you're going to see a lot more of that as time goes on, but I don't know. It's hard to really gauge. You know, I mean, Disney's never going to learn their lesson. Disney's going to Disney no matter what. You have companies like Netflix that are a little bit bipolar. You know, 1 second they'll create something that is super, just complete woke garbage. Right? What's that? What is that?
HBO's the same way, I believe, too.
Netflix has something.
You're talking about Coco Melon. I know what you're about to bring up.
Yeah,
Netflix has something
but see, that's why I say you talk about Netflix being bipolar. But see, I think Netflix is the perfect example of not really an agenda. We really just trying to put out whatever bullshit that sticks.
Yeah,
and I don't think there's like this. You know, I don't think there's this conspiracy. We're trying to push a narrative. I think there's people. They got content. Netflix is trying to, get whatever they want. And then I think that when it comes to Disney, we just hired a bunch of weirdos. I really think that's what it is. We hired a bunch of weirdos. We don't know how to get them the fuck up out of here. Like, I think that's what it is.
No, you're right.
Like
Disney is weirdo central. Netflix is just taking whatever they get. And Amazon is kind of like, they just grab whatever scraps they can get. And then it's 50-50 with Amazon as to whether the show or movie that comes out is going to be
is he
a
going to
hit
mention
or
it,
no.
folks? Is he going to mention it?
What? No, I'm not. You know why? Because you know what's a hit? Reacher. The Reacher show is a fucking hit. But then on the other hand, guess what? You do have other shitty shows. And yes, I'm going to say it. Rings of Power. There.
He mentioned it. He mentioned it.
Netflix told you who they was during that whole Dave Chappelle situation. Netflix told you who they was. They said, listen, we ain't taking down shit. We want to put out content from all different kind of spaces. And that's what they've done. To their credit, that's what they've done. I would argue that the Wednesday show was very, woman centric, a little bit of feminist propaganda, but it was a good show. And it was a good show. And then you talk about they put out other shit where you're like, damn, they allowed y'all to put that out. Like there's this show on Netflix right now called Hot Girls Wanted. I mean, it's not a show.
Lord,
Isn't that old? I feel like I've heard of that. That's the one about.
It's a documentary.
It's a documentary, and I can't believe I'm surprised. I haven't heard.
Pretty sure Mrs. Fans watched that
nothing
one.
like that because if he can do what he's doing, and Andrew Tate is facing charges for what he's doing, that is crazy. But
it's all
it down.
It's all about what side you're on, of course.
What is going to happen, though, when the dust settles and there's no more culture war to fight? That's the question I always like to ask privately. What are we going to do, guys? Are we going to put our feet up and say a job well done, or are we going to...
No, you're always going to have a culture war.
You're always going to have not existing. There's always some sort of fight on some...
What, in 2050?
Well,
I mean, if that's what it takes, then that's what we do.
I would not say there's always a culture war. There might be individual culture skirmishes or battles, but there's not always a culture war. We were unified.
It's not like right now.
Our culture was
15 years ago.
In when it comes to content that was coming out in the 90s, we were mostly unified post 9/11. Like there's obviously you had your occasional dumb shit, but no, when the culture war is over, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, just hopefully with
the culture war has been around since the 60s. The 60s, you had the conservatives, and then you had the free.
I knew it all went wrong in the fucking 60s.
You've always had it. It's just come to the forefront because
that's when it pushed its way into the
culture wars have existed since forever.
It's not been one continuous culture war. It's been several. It's like everyone talks about the Crusades. No, there was not one thing.
It was a
there was about
war
5
and
to
it's not
6
anymore.
Crusades.
There's
been multiple culture wars, and then after that, there's been multiple years of relative cultural peace.
But also they were very isolated to begin with. Like when these things happened, they happen in all these cultures that were having their little culture skirmishes, as you call them. They were very isolated from other groups that thousands of miles away were having the same kind of conflict, or were going through their period of a lull, if you will, before the start of next conflict. And remember, this is time periods where people lacked basic resources. So of course it propagated.
We have too few problems. The
Like,
internet has connected
you
everybody.
say America's always been at war. Well, no. I mean, we've always been in conflict. But like after World War II, we had a few years off. Then we had Korea. Then we had a few years off. Then we had Vietnam. So like, yes, were there conflicts in between those? Yes, but those are separate wars. It's not like we've been fighting this one culture war.
No, but you've had in the 90s, you had rap. You had the conservatives fighting against rap. In the 80s, you had the conservatives fighting against like the
but was that really a war, or was that just more?
It's a culture war. Like the Rodney King,
if it's a culture war, then if that's the culture war, then this is the culture infinity war. Every aspect of entire life.
I could be using
because it's infiltrated the movies and the books.
Yeah, it's now culture war of the worlds. You know,
I would say,
but the word war, at least in my opinion, when we're talking about a culture war, it's got to be mainstream. And
when you say war, I disagree with the battle with conservatives against rap was an actual war. I would say that was a battle. This is war. This is war because you're fighting a different battle on multiple fronts. There's a gender war going on. There's obviously a race war. There's the sexuality war, people trying to fight to protect their kids. Now there's actual war going on, and we're fighting about whether or not we should be sending money over there or not.
And the funny thing is, the actual people who create the fucking war are being ignored in the shadows, pulling the strings and making the war. It's like war as a commodity, so that we don't actually band together and go against the people who are actually responsible.
Well, of course, but that's always existed. But Will, that's always existed for the longest time. It's just that we now are more with the rise of technology, especially in the past 30 years specifically, with the rise of the internet onward.
I wonder what group of people on planet Earth have been around since the dawn of time. Hypno, you wanted to close the show?
Oh my god.
Not yet.
No,
Ryan.
but like
Jesus fuck.
Damn,
bro.
You did say that you wanted to close off the show. So
anyway,
oh my god.
Point is, when it comes to a culture war, it's when what makes it a culture war is when the entire culture is involved. And with a rap thing, for example, that was about rap culture versus some redneck politicians. That wasn't all of culture. When you have something ubiquitous like superhero movies that have taken over the entertainment industry, that becomes a culture war because it does not matter your race, creed, your religion, your ethnicity. Everyone loved, or at least most people loved, superhero movies, so most people are invested in this. Whereas rap was not. I mean, a lot of us may have enjoyed it, but rap was not ubiquitous like Marvel.
I mean, rap is music. Music is ubiquitous.
But it wasn't a war on music. The conservative politicians, they weren't going after folk, and they weren't going after
they were going after the police. They were going after. They were going against everything because they were like beaten down. They were labeled as drug dealers and criminals, and that's why you had the riots in the 90s. You had the Rodney King situation.
People in bumfuck Minnesota working their average job at Walmart weren't giving a fuck about the East Coast, West Coast stuff. Everyone on the internet, in one way or another, has an opinion on Marvel.
You know what's crazy? You talk about music.
My Saudi Arabian colleague.
You also got to remember, guys, the opinions are a lot more readily accessible now with the age of the internet.
That's the point.
Exactly.
Thank you.
There's always been opinions, but most of them were isolated, pocketed things. Nowadays, there's I mean, you can find communities for anything. The weirdest shit any of you guys could think up right now, type it into Google. You will find a community that is like 5 minutes from your house, and you will find that, and you will be having your weird situation, and that's really what perpetuated it. Like you kind of said before, historically, when there was huge cultural friction, actual wars broke out. We don't need to do that anymore because everybody can fight over a huge distance.
Right.
It's not person to person. It's not neighbor versus neighbor in the sense of, oh, this guy, like I'll pick a random historical, the great schism of Christianity between breaking off, it's not like, oh, this guy's Protestant and that guy's Catholic. I got to kill him because he doesn't believe in God. It's not like that now. It's like now we're, I don't agree with this person who's 5,000 miles away from me, and I can sling anonymously whatever the hell I want at him.
Well, I don't do it anonymously,
Well,
Dark
we
Hour,
could
and I
just,
do it
or
to
they could
words
just go
all
on
the time.
YouTube. They could go on YouTube.
Majority of people, though, majority of people, like overwhelming majority of people, anonymously sling these things.
Oh yeah, they do. It takes balls to put your face on the
put your
internet.
face exactly.
Oh,
to put your face up there.
I never thought myself as courageous. So.
I mean, it's
Plenty
not
of our
it's not like you're
subscribers do. It's
not like
actually
you're
kind of
facing
amazing.
down
Ryan, look, one day I promise you the internet will lead you to the order
thought he was
of
gonna
the
promise a
holy
face reveal.
burning lamppost, and you will find your kindred of racist British Klansmen. But until that day, you are by yourself.
I have twice the support you do, Dragon. And until that changes, you're not going to lecture me on building a community.
Ryan. Talking about a sports bra.
Words.
Talking
I
about
know you
sports
passed
bra.
me, but you're not dragons. So I'm
You
not
know
calling
it's a
you
good
out.
night when Ryan is flexing his sub count.
Yeah.
That's
on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna start wrapping up the show, episode 70. Which awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Slip into a Slim Jim.
So many more topics than I thought we were going to talk about, but we just ended up deviating
today.
into many different topics. But let's do our outros and start off with Jay Diabolical Souls Presents. Take it away, man.
Yo, thank you for having me on again. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I hope everyone has a good one, a healthy one. And this week coming up, I will be doing a Rebel Moon review with a group of people like Little Platoon. I think Cynic might be there. I'm not sure. Vex, so many others. They're going to be on there.
Leon be there.
I'm thinking I might have to invite Leon for that one.
If Leon's there, it'll be interesting.
Yes, I'm definitely going to be Leon. The invite is open. So Wednesday night, the 27th. And then Thursday, I think, Thursday we're going to do episode 6, Blue-Eyed Samurai review. We just did episode 5. We had Michael Bancroft on. It was a great episode. And then back here next Saturday. So
awesome, man. Atreus, take it away.
Yo, man, y'all know how it is, man. Just subscribe, goddamn. Atreus. Just follow me on Twitter.
Man, I need subscribers too. I need subscribers. Yeah.
Hey, look, man, I make content. You watch, just subscribe, goddamn it.
Yeah, subscribe.
Hey, man, showing to the point. I like it. Shout out Panther111 gifting 5 Hypnotic memberships towards the end of the stream. Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. All right, Dragon Slayer commentaries. Take it away, man.
All right. Well, I just want to say it's been a great night as always. You know, I do enjoy, just talking about all these topics with you guys. And as for me, well, if you've not been keeping up with me, I did release a video like a couple of days ago. It's just an Ahsoka review. There will be more videos coming, specifically the Violent Night movie review, because I think it was a pretty awesome Christmas movie. And then I'll be making my reviews on Aquaman and Rebel Moon, but I'm more excited on Violent Night. That's just how it is, And I got other content on the channel, so watch it. Subscribe if you like it. That's it.
Still shocked to release the video. Very, very shocked.
I know. You'll be shocked when I released a second video within a month of each other. I bet your brains are going to explode, and Atreus will rob a house out of pride.
Oh, man. And our special guest tonight, DarkHour. Take it away, man.
Well, I'm starting to lose my voice. I've actually did 2 straight shows today, so it's kind of. But yeah, so I have a show every other Saturday with my buddy, the Uninspired Reviewer. We watch whatever. I have a schedule out for a year actually worth of really good movies. Talking about those, I'll be putting out an Aquaman review probably after Christmas because I'm not going to try and do it like that quickly, but it will probably be a much nicer review than I expected. Like I said earlier, I released my Rebel Moon review. If anybody wants to go watch that, so if you want to subscribe to me, if you like what you see there, if you don't like what you see there, subscribe anyway. It doesn't hurt. But yeah, and then going forward, I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with what I've been doing. So
absolutely, man. Thank you again for hanging out with us tonight.
I want to thank you for having me on. This was a fun stream. It's always great to be on a stream for the first time because you get you never know how you're gonna gel with people It's sometimes it doesn't work. I felt like I gelled pretty well here. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I rubbed some people the wrong way. But it helped that I know Jay.
You're good.
So,
You're good.
I hope we didn't scare you.
No. It's fine.
I'm surprised Ryan's racism did not scare you, or Atreus is hardy comebacks. I'm very surprised. Most people get shocked.
I'm from New Jersey. The shit that people yell at each other.
That makes sense.
Chris Christie didn't eat you while he was governor?
No, he didn't. No, but yeah, some of the stuff that we yell at each other here, you wouldn't believe.
It's just daily obscenities. Yes,
same thing.
Hey, DarkHour, that big light that you're seeing, that's not you dying, going to heaven. That's Ryan's big bald head. So just like see.
I will say this. I did see earlier in the chat someone said that I looked like discount Elon Musk, which was
I did not see that.
I've gotten that one before. Usually people call me Joe Rogan, so that one happens from time to time as well.
It's all right. I've been called Phil Collins, so don't worry.
You look like America's most successful African American, a white man.
I was gonna say you look like a nicer Tony Soprano, but oh well.
I'm not Italian though.
That's pretty good. Isn't everybody in Jersey Italian?
But sort of by default, yes. But no, genetically, I am not
Italian.
No.
That's hilarious.
But you are part Nigerian, so you got that going.
I am 1% Nigerian now. So,
well, the fans, take it away, man.
Yeah, well, everybody, it's been a really good one today. We've got some interesting topics. It's always great to chat about everything from ugly naked freaks on Twitch to the hardwired natures of men and women. I'm going to go take a nap, but then I'm going to get back and hit my channel really hard, preparing for Doctor Who, as I have sadly pledged to spare my subscribers the horror of having to watch the Christmas episode. So look for my review on the 26th. If Doctor Who's not your bag, I talk about plenty of other stuff as well, from Star Wars and the MCU to video games, industry bullshit, and all that kind of stuff. I fight for truth. I fight for common sense, freedom of thought, freedom of speech. If that sounds like your cup of tea, please pop over to Will of the Fans with me. Will, see what I did there. And you could perhaps be one of the 10 remaining subs that I need to get to 3,000. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a great Christmas.
Absolutely, man. Congrats on your explosive growth. It's awesome. It's good
been
to see.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, really.
Congrats, crazy.
Dude.
Absolutely insane. It's all been Doctor
Who. Yeah. And we got Leon, Words of Paradise. Take it away.
Thank you. Another one in the books. It's been an awesome night. We had a lot of really interesting discussions. Again, no one can claim this show as an echo chamber as much as they want, because there were varying, wildly different opinions here. And I think that's exactly what's going to move this culture forward. We're all in this culture war together. Even if we don't necessarily agree on the best plans of attack, we at least have a core ideology that does unify us. And if I could give a word of warning, it's going to be that I really do think things are getting better. We have seen massive culture war wins in the last year and a half, and don't rest on our laurels. Don't even start taking it easy because we're seeing things going well, but also don't turn into the nightmarish slovenly slobs that screech about nothingness into the void. Save the battles for the ones that need it. Picking your battles is a very important part of the art of war. So scream about the woke shit when it's there, but also acknowledge the good stuff when it comes. And speaking of acknowledging the good stuff when it comes, the last couple of days I've done a couple of videos that actually weren't really culture war related. I decided that, I wanted to show out the fact that, yeah, I'm a real nerd. This ain't part of some grifting shit. So I made a couple of videos that were, about the top 10 video games I'd like to see remade. And then I also did a Rebel Moon review. So love or hate it, at least check it out and give me your opinions in the comments. I respond to all of them. And yeah, it can be fun. I had the exact opposite opinion of DarkHour here. So watch both of them, then compare and contrast, and see what you get out of it. But I'm going to get back to reviewing the regular culture war stuff, as well as making more videos that are just nerd oriented in general, to give everyone a reprieve from what we see day in and day out. And if that's in your bag, by all means, hop on over to Words of Paradise, hit that subscribe button for nearly daily content. Thank you again, Hypno. Always a blast.
No worries, man. And last but not least, ultra racist Ryan Roger Athe. Take it away.
I'm the most overrated creator on this panel by a country mile. 2024 is going to be a wild year, folks. All the prominent creators are going to get purged. Hypno's going to get to 100,000 subscribers, and he's going to lead the charge of the new era, and hopefully we'll all be here by his side. You can check me out at Ryan Roger Athe. That's the name of my channel, and that is my own name. Host and founder of Reality Based. That's the name of my show. No videos on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or even Boxing Day. I'm taking 3 days off. My goodness. That's because we passed 1,840 subscribers, and I see that as a win in terms of growth. Yes.
That's a good number.
Nice round number, yeah.
I gained 40 subscribers for the first time in a month, in like 3 fucking months. So that's good for me.
I always love when it's a round number. When I lose or gain one, I'm like, ah.
I would love to get 1860 because that's a great fucking year for the United States. But I think it's a bit too much for me. Maybe 1850. That was a good year, wasn't it, Atreus? But in all seriousness, starting on the 27th of December, I will be making plenty of suggestion videos, plenty of Rising Stars videos. I'll probably get bored during those 3 days and make a fucking arsenal of content to just release like a tidal wave of water, or in Africa's case, shit. And the next episode of Reality Based Extreme will be on Thursday, the 28th of December, where T-Virus Terrence will be our special guest, the big swole African-American himself, who is very prominent. His channel...
treat him the same as you treat Atreus.
His channel of 20,000 subscribers was purged, I believe, yesterday. So we'll be having him on. Reality Based is a refugee camp, and we are welcoming a purged creator. He's not for the faint of heart. Women love him. He's built better than Atreus is, and he's not afraid to share it. So, that's the plan.
It's not like you're trying to auction off a slave. You're like, look at how well built this black man is.
Well, he speaks in the... I'll finish by saying this words. He speaks in the third person, so he's eccentric. We like
The Rock.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Thanks for watching, and bye for now. Like, share, and subscribe too.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out on episode.
Now who's rambling,
70,
right?
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to all the Hypno mods out there in the chat for doing what you do, man. I really genuinely appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who took the extra step to super chat, gift, the membership, whatever the case may be. Awesome of you to be given at this time of year. Thank you so much again for the continued support on the show. Of course, this is not the last episode of the year. We got one more episode next Saturday, so we'll be ending the year on episode 71. So please make sure you guys come out and hang out with us next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hope everybody has a great night. Hope everybody enjoys their Christmas and definitely has as good of a holiday weekend as they possibly can. And we'll make sure to see all of you bigots on the last episode of the year. So take care, everybody. Have a great fucking night and go be bigots. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women, sex with men. And I got news for you. That means you're gay. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. Vagina.